Hey everybody! Welcome to the first episode of Perspective Check. This is our first time streaming. This is our home game of D&D that we've been playing for the last year and a half. I don't know, we're playing D&D 5th edition. For anyone that knows anything about it, it's homebrewed. We kind of make up rules from time to time. We try to stick to it for the most part, but yeah. My name is Cody. I'll be the Dungeon Master for tonight, and I'll go ahead and turn it over to everyone else if you just want to say your name and your character, and what level you guys are.
I'm Sindal, a Legend Wizard, level 8.
I'm Kaylee, playing Fenrir Lucavella. I am a Dwarf Paladin, level 8 as well.
My name is Eric. I'm level 7, half-orc barbarian named Korak.
I'm Tim. I'm playing a level 8 halfling druid named Lily, who is super adorable. 14 years old, fox ears, it's very kawaii.
I'm Troy. I'm a level 8 halfling bard. His name is Zarnathor Moonglow Vertical.
Half-elf, not halfling.
This halfling?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm already messing up.
I'm so nervous.
And for the moment, we are sans our ASMR cleric. Rusty, he'll be here in a little bit. He said that he's running a little bit late.
Did he text you back?
Yeah, he just texted me, said he's stuck in traffic. We hope you guys enjoy it. I think we'll just go ahead and get started here. So, guys, on the last exciting episode of Dungeons and Dragon Ball Z, our group of adventurers, Nocturnum, an intrepid band of warriors, were recently celebrated as heroes to the elven capital of Kelisaeri, where they were the main implement of destruction to the warchief of an orc army who went by the name Shagrah Bladespine. During their battle with him, they defeated him, and in looting him, found an ancient artifact known as the Eye of Grumsh, a powerful magical item lost to the ages that they found out later, when used, is able to bend the will of orcs and half-orcs to the person who wields it. Unsure of what to do with such a powerful item, they are currently hiding it on their persons, unsure of what to do with it, whether to try to have it destroyed or in an attempt to hide it, and if so, who can they trust with the knowledge of its existence? In the meantime, after their celebration, during their celebration, they were introduced to a half-orc, Korak, who earned some renown of his own during the battle and managed to resist the temptation of the magic item unbeknownst to him. After a strange night of celebrating involving some banishment of some jerks on the dance floor, as well as partying in a basement with some skeletons, the group awakens a couple days later, trying to decide what to do. And after some discussion, they have decided to go and speak with June Law, or as everyone else has decided to call her, Jude Law.
Jude Law.
To go and help her on a mission where they had learned from a centaur druid of a vision that this girl served some greater purpose, and in order to unlock that, she had to go to 3 special locations known as arcane junctions. In previous adventures, Nocturnum led Junla to one of these, where before she interacted with the junction, she was 8 years old, and afterwards she aged about 5 years and began to show strange physical manifestations of her power. For instance, her eyes now look like diamonds. And now they have to go and try to convince her father to let them take her to the next junction. And that's where we're going to start off with. So, Fenrir, Sindal, Lily, Zarn, and what will be Albert. You awaken in your house within the Arcane Gathering. You guys wake up. It's pretty early morning, getting some breakfast. A couple servants come and bring you some food. And you guys start to prepare yourselves for the day. Is there anything in particular that you guys would like to do before going to the house? Speaking of Rusty, hello, we're live.
Hello. Hello, friend.
We're on the internet.
Glad to see you're alive. Smiley face.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, and everyone's still in frame. So, is there anything you guys would like to do this morning before going in search of where the Thunderhearts are within the city?
Well, I was thinking that, we already helped this Al-Said with her mission pretty much on her word. Perhaps if we went and looked for some more information first, see if we can learn anything in the library about Al-Said, to make sure that we're not just taking this girl to her death before we go through with it. Perhaps there's some sort of knowledge that we don't have about Al-Said.
We have only looked at what we know about the Arcane Junction, not about the Al-Said. I agree with that.
The rest of you think?
Alright. So you're going to go to the reliquary in search of this information?
Yeah.
I believe that's the best place.
Okay, and who else going?
I'll go.
Yeah, I'm going.
It's my
Oh,
idea.
definitely good.
Okay.
I think all of us.
Terry Long?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were going to go out into Noldath.
Oh, are they still in required? Do they still require assistance in rebuilding and everything?
They're going to be rebuilding pretty much up until the moment winter ends.
Then I'll go out with Cora and do that.
Okay.
So,
I did.
Alright, so you go out into the exterior part of the city that suffered the most damage in the time of the war. As for the rest of you, you head towards Sindal. You've been in there a couple times before. The Occult Reliquary, the largest gathering of powerful wizards on this side of the continent. As you go, Zarn, have you been there before? Do you remember?
We went there when we went to see Ralzen's former master order.
That's correct. Okay. So, as you guys head towards the reliquary, you get to the main gate of the tower, where there are a few guards, and knowing who you guys are at this point, they let you guys pass. And you guys have access to the library. Two people want to go ahead and roll investigation checks in search of something.
That is a 13.
24.
24. So, you guys spend the better part of an hour, maybe two, looking through the library on different books, finding a couple, flipping through them. Sindal, you eventually find that a little bit of information about Alcieds. Like you already know that they are not... The centaur are half man, half horse, whereas Alcieds are half man, half deer. In the course of your research, you learned that Alcieds are never born naturally. There is no clans of Alcieds. They are born from centaur, and they are born with purpose. They are born with the purpose of a vision. Sometimes they manage to live out whatever this purpose is. Sometimes they don't. As for what the purposes of these visions have been, you've seen some that it has led people to greater discoveries. It has led people to slight ripples in between the planes of existence, that they are the ones that their purpose has been to go and close that ripple. But as for whether or not it's an ill-willed purpose or whatever it may be, whatever their visions are, they have a purpose.
Is there any, have any of those visions like led to like a horrible thing? Anything like terrible happening from?
There's nothing of particular note as for like great calamities or extreme circumstances where their visions have led to like the salvation of hundreds or anything like that. There's only a few accounts of what they are, and as to what they are, they managed to serve out their purpose, and the world has continued on afterwards. So,
did it say anything about where they came from? Like what gives them this purpose?
There's, like I said before, there's not a lot of direct interaction with them. From what documentation there is, they all believe that it comes from the Earth Spirit, or essentially the deity to the centaur. They don't necessarily follow a particular god that is known to the pantheons as much as they believe in the greater spirit and flow of nature through the world.
Kind of sounds like they're just born runts, only they have a vision. Because like if they're coming from a centaur, they're just
more or less, yeah.
Runts or blessed by something.
And also, you believe that, I mean, they have some magic to them, because, for instance, the antlers that a bear wears on his head are made from the antlers of an Alciad.
I wonder how they'll feel about that if he walks up with.
I was wondering about that. I'm not the one wearing it, so.
We bear no ill will towards them.
Well, I
We
mean,
destroyed it either.
we did openly talk about betraying her in front of her when we were discussing what to do in the first place.
Who said that?
That was a long conversation.
There was a long conversation held in front of them as to whether or not just to say, fuck it, let's leave them. Or or we can go and kill the centaur, and if they backstab us, then we'll just kill them. Like, there was a very long conversation that was held blatantly in front of them.
Classic us.
That's totally our style.
But yeah, so that's the information that you guys managed to gather.
Alright, well, nothing here is making me think that there's anything tragic going to happen. It's just another mystery, which I wouldn't mind solving.
Certainly, now that the city is safe, we'll have time before winter.
Nice.
So, you guys make your way back out of the reliquary, and you can see that during the time of the war, the reliquary was completely untouched for the most part. There was no fighting in this area of the district. The tower seemed very not busy for the most part. It seems as if there's a lot of people still out and about getting things done in the city. But anyways.
Did they ever reactivate the Temple Vara?
Temple Vara is not in effect yet. The city is still under martial law. So, you guys make your way, and you guys had some brief interaction with them, hearing that they were in the city. You guys haven't had much time to go and speak with them since the fighting started. But you guys know that they are in the interior district of the city, and after a little bit of searching, you guys are able to find out exactly where they are now. They haven't moved residence. As you guys walk up towards the house where they are staying, you guys walk up and knock on the door. The door's opened. You see Habrana, the female dwarf handmaiden to the Thunderhearts. You see her with a little bit of peach fuzz, with her hair kind of pulled back into a very simple bun. Oh, hello, it's so great to see all of you. Are you here to see Lord Thunderheart?
Certainly.
That's the plan.
It's great to see that you're doing fine.
Well, most of us are doing all right. Come on in. And she walks you guys through the house to the living room where you see, and you can kind of hear the voices before. You hear two men speaking, and as you guys kind of walk into the room, you see a man with his back to you, and you see Baron Philip Thunderheart, the dark complexioned man, the Baron of Kesk. You see sitting, holding a glass of whiskey on ice, and he's taking a sip. And as he turns to look at you, the man who has his back to you turns as well, and you see that it's Patroclus, your former traveling companion, gladiator. And as he sees you, you see Patroclus stand up, and as he turns towards you, you see he holds out his right hand to shake. He says, "Soren, Lily, Sindal, it's so great to see all of you." And as he comes towards you, you can see that his left arm is heavily bandaged around the stump that goes about a little bit lower than his left arm. As he walks out and shakes your guys' hands, kind of gives you guys a light hug to each of you, the Baron says, "It's good to see all of you. What purpose brings you here today?"
Well, Lily wants to see how all of you are doing and check on June Law and everybody.
And Patroclus seems to be in good spirits, but you can see a bit of a grimace come across his face, and he says, "Well, doing all right for the most part. Orc got the better part of me when we were fighting, but Leandra and the kids are safe, so that's all that matters."
Indeed.
And the Baron says, "Junlaw's fine. She's still resting. She's been tired. We've had a few people coming in to check on her condition, to see if they know anything, to see if the elves are able to find any form of cure for whatever this problem is."
You actually sought the medical advice of the Elven Council here?
Of course. Who else is going to cleanse her of this abomination?
Honestly, we were a little concerned because we figured that the elves here do have a bit of a history with taking magic items and magically enchanted people like this and locking them away into the reliquary, never to be heard from again.
I'm a baron of King Abrem. These elves owe my king everything. If the elves were to take my daughter, he would have a word with the Empress.
I'm glad to know that things at least appear.
Is there any... have they learned anything? Or are they as...
They haven't learned much. They've been able to determine that it doesn't appear to be any form of disease or magical curse. They're attempting to figure out if it's something that's naturally inside her, or if it was something that was at this junction that infused it with her. But she's fine for the most part.
just still tired, resting?
Yes, there was a long bout of tests that were run on her yesterday to try and figure out what's going on. She's still resting. You guys kind of noticed that Patroclus has been he's kind of like stepped back. He's just kind of standing, kind of keeping his eyes away from the Baron, just...
In any case, we're all glad to see that you've survived the attack. It was...
Yes, aside from Patroclus's injury, we're all fine for the most part. And I hear that you're all saviors of this city. Erato, or whatever the elven word was for it, champions.
Aratoa, I believe. Yes, we pretty instrumental in the saving of the city, if I do say so myself.
Well, if you ever find yourselves a narc, I'm sure King Abrem would be more than willing to hold a feast upon your arrival. But I'm sure that Calrin will speak of your praises once he arrives back at the city. And he takes a sip from his whiskey. So aside from checking on June Law and checking on Patrithus, do you have some other purpose for being here? Or if not, Patrithus can go with you. I have things I need to attend to before we prepare our journey back to Kesk.
Well, we intended to see through to the end. That's the situation that's come up with June Law.
The situation is at its end. The elves will watch over her, and we'll make sure that they send 1 or 2 people to see over her recovery. But you brought her back to me. That was everything that needed to be accomplished.
We have been continuing our research. We are attempting to do it to the best of our abilities, the same as you seeking guidance and help from the elves here in the city for her. We simply came to discuss what we were thinking and our ability to help.
What have you learned?
Well, these junctions, I'm not quite sure anymore. Since the battle, it's kind of hard to remember.
Okay.
Exactly.
So you remember that the junctions are locations where the natural flow of the weave, the flow of arcane magic throughout the cosmos, these are places where these threads cross over with one another and are particularly strong locations of natural wild magic.
Yeah, that was all we learned. We had more than that.
I mean, you guys tried to do a little bit more research before
Yeah.
the battle, but you guys weren't able to uncover a lot. There's hypotheses, but there's not.
Right.
There's no solid evidence into the research of these locations. But go and roll a persuasion check.
Sure. Well, what I was going to say was, after explaining that, what we believe is that in order to cleanse her from whatever this abomination you called it, we believe it will likely be necessary to continue this journey and take her to these locations. That is at least what we've all agreed upon as far as what we've learned.
Okay. Now go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
10.
And what makes you think that taking her to these locations will cleanse her of this?
Well,
The nonsense babbling of those horse people?
the Asaid has a very strong argument, and the research into Asaid that we've done suggests that her babbling is well-founded, and also it's nothing she would ever mislead, lie to us about. She has the truest intent. But these visions that she has and claims that she has and has explained to us about, these visions are much in the way of you protecting your own family, her life's goal. She has nothing else but to simply complete it the same that you would protect Juvenal. She wants to see this vision through to its end.
Roll another persuasion check.
5.
It's going great.
Alright.
Takes another sip of whiskey. Forgive me for sounding rude, champion. But until I have heard these words and know for a fact that taking her to these places will cleanse her, until I hear these words from a practiced researcher, I'll not leave my daughter's hands in the fate of animals.
Well,
Even if we were to escort her, and we could get into her own protection. We have before. We can do it again.
And I understand this. However, unless we know what afflicts her, sending her to these locations could lead to her death. But if her going to these places, this Alcied's vision, leads to her ultimate destruction, I'll not let my daughter go to these places without knowing what it is that's happening to her.
your resolve
That's
is
a very
with,
fair point.
your resolve is with true warrant, and I accept that.
You said you've been having tests passed on her here.
Yes, we've had several wizards from the reliquary stop by to run tests on her, to test her blood, to see if there are magical curses that afflict her. And they've not been able to determine if it's something that was laid upon her. They were able to determine that it was not something that's laid upon her. So the next thing is to figure out if it's something in her blood or something else that they're not able to detect at this time.
And how does she feel about all these tests?
She's been quiet. She's worried. Not sure of what's happening. But I think that she's of the same mind as me to figure out what exactly is happening.
Might we inquire as to which masters of the reliquary or wizards of the sword have come to see her? I'd very much like to speak to them.
Well, before the war, there was a dark elf who was coming, one by the name of Shagrah. But after their kind's betrayal of the Empress, I won't trust my daughter with their kind. Since then, the last few days, a Durgar by the name of Brothwall has been coming by. She's not certain as to what's happening, but from what she says, she has experience with these junctions. So she's one of the most qualified to come and check.
Was Brotherhood the one that I was speaking with?
That was the one that you and Adris spoke with initially.
Yep. Okay. I have spent time with Brotherwall, in fact, speaking to her about the junctions. Originally, whenever I was doing my research with our other companion, who's since separated. So, I'm very curious to see what else she's learned.
Well, I've told you everything that she's told me, unless she's hiding something from me, but I don't believe that she is.
I can't imagine that she would bring all of her theories to you. She would only bring you what she's found out for certain. Not to
Theories?
possibilities of things. There's many different ways that it could mean. It could be anything.
Exactly.
I
It
would not.
could-
If it were to me, I wouldn't simply tell you every idea that I had come to mind based on the evidence. I would not bring it to you since you are the father of the child until it was something that I knew for certain. Otherwise, I could be misleading you.
All the more reason for her to remain in our care, that Brothwell can figure out exactly what's happening to her.
What's Patrick doing right now?
Give me an insight check.
I'm good at that.
That's cool. 21.
There's been more than a few times during this conversation where Patrithus went to chime in and then bit his tongue, and you sense a growing level of frustration almost coming from him, but when you look over in his direction, he catches your eye and just shakes his head.
And I just, after that, I just say, well, I think we've learned everything that we can here. Perhaps we can go talk to Brothwell, maybe go to the reliquary and see if we can find some more information before we get on with things.
I agree.
And Patrithus, I'll see them out. Cousin, I'll be back in an hour or two.
Real quick, out of character. It's only been, 2 months in game time since the last Arcane Junction and how it is right now?
Allow me to pull up my calendar.
Wow.
A lot of dead orcs since then.
Yeah, it's been almost exactly 2 months, a little bit longer than that.
I'm good. Okay.
And okay, yeah. So Patrithus kind of walks you guys outside, and as you guys walk out of the house, he closes the door behind you, and you guys start walking a little bit. And after getting out of eyesight of the house, he kind of stops and says, "I knew this was going to happen." He means well for his daughter, but it's so clear that there is something to this. I was afraid of this happening, and I tried to stop him from getting researchers to come. But with the preparation for the war coming, I was called to action. I had to go and be on the wall, be on the front line, and me being hurt, I haven't been able to be here to. That Brothwell has been coming almost every day.
Well, I mean,
I'm just afraid that the longer that she stays here, the more and more likely that she'll never be able to go back out. There's clearly something to this.
well, it's one thing to convince a hobgoblin or an orc to spill information and let things up, and it's another thing to convince a man to let his daughter go. So I don't really blame him for the way he's acting. It's blood. He already lost her once. We brought her back. But I think this is important, and I don't want her to be a test subject for the rest of her life.
I don't either. She's
do you
already.
know, do you know exactly what they have been doing to her? Like, does she appear to be in pain? Or real emotional distress?
Not necessarily. She's been stoic through most of it. They've been, for the first couple days of testing, they were coming and casting spells, doing rituals, attempting to figure out anything they could through divination, through any means of detection, but all to no avail thus far. And recently they've started to draw blood and run tests on it. She's tired. I've been drawing blood daily, every other day. She just has no energy, and it's starting to take a toll on her. I can tell, but
My fear after speaking to Lord Thunderheart is I'm not certain on the way that he views his own daughter after calling her affliction an abomination is not quite something you stomach easily.
He does not understand what's wrong with her.
If this is the will of another god, it's certainly beyond that. I don't know.
I'm going to.
I'm not sure. After he lost his wife, Junla means everything to him. So I understand why he's trying to protect her, but this is something bigger.
Do we know how he lost his wife?
You do not.
What happened to his wife?
A few months after Junla was born, there was a bout of disease that struck the countryside. And a lot of people passed, including her. He didn't take well, or he didn't do well after it, but took solace in being able to take care of Junla. She's all he has.
You're not making this much easier.
It's not an easy decision, but
perhaps if we talk to Brothel, she can offer some insight if she's been taking blood. Perhaps she knows something.
perhaps I don't know. I would hate to even speak the idea, but I know that we spoke before, potentially, if he's not amenable to it, that we find a way to sneak her out of the city. I would prefer to explore all other options before we get to that.
Of course.
Right. Plus,
And I would be able to... I would be more than willing to take the fall for such a thing if it comes to that it was my decision.
Well, I certainly want to be the one known to have done that. But I wish to explore every possibility.
Of course.
We will do our best to convince him in a way that is a manner that will convince him. If he wants hard and true evidence, we will find a way and we'll get it if we can.
do you think she would be awake right now?
I could go up and get her. She might be awake. I can go check.
Shall we speak with Rothwell first?
Well, I was going to send her a message. Ask her how she's doing. But if she's asleep, she won't get it.
Well, do as you please. I would prefer to speak with Rothwell before we speak with Junla. If Baron allows Lord Baron.
Well, I mean, we already are right here. We could just directly speak with her if she's awake.
I can go and fetch her. It
We'll
won't be a
able to
problem.
see her. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
He goes back to the house. A few minutes pass while you guys are waiting, and same as usual, as citizens, as guards are walking by, a couple of them take notice of you and shout your names. Continue on their way. A few minutes pass, and Patrithus comes back with Junlan. You can see as she comes back with her. You see her caramel skin. You can see that her hair is
Wasn't it white before?
no, she had
Yeah,
she had black hair, and you see that since you've seen her, she got her hair cut into a little bit more of like a pixie cut, almost just kind of shorter all around. Still kind of long, but she looks tired. You can see bags under her eyes, and once she gets close enough, you see again her eyes are still, the irises of her eyes are a diamond color.
Is it still the whole iris and pupil, or just the iris and the pupil looks normal?
It's just the pretty much where the iris and the pupil are. It's the diamond, and then there's still the whites of her eyes. She's all of you. Good morning, everybody. Glad to see you're all right. I saw all of you at the parade the other day.
How are you doing, Junla?
Good. I'm tired. Breathwall's been running a lot of tests on me, but everything seems all right.
How do you feel about them running tests on you?
Do you want to say something? Well, Father thinks it's for the best to be running all these tests, and I can't say he's wrong. So, he continues to run them, or have them run, and I'd just like to know what's going on.
Have you been sleeping well? Have you had any dreams or any feelings about?
I've had some dreams. Mostly similar to the vision that I saw that day of stars and suns and fire, but nothing overly clear. I hear some of the words that Kalen said before, but I still think that she's right, that there is something to me going to these junctions. I mean, I wouldn't have grown up as much as I did whenever I went into it if there wasn't something to it.
We are in complete agreement.
Breathwall doesn't seem to be making any progress.
Are the elves been treating you alright?
Well, Breathwall says that she thinks she's making progress, but Father believes her. She's not. I can tell. And when she was first showing up, well, the man who was showing up before, Jegrid, he was friendly, mostly curious, but friendly. And Breathwall was friendly the first day or two, but she doesn't really talk to me as much as she talks at me. I don't know.
It sounds as though Breathwell is having a growing frustration with her inability to figure out what this might be.
I think she's just more interested in knowing than she is as interested in figuring this out. That maybe it could be fixed.
So, was Jegrid the Rauzen's master? Alright, I don't know if we already...
That's what I'm looking for. I don't know, I can't remember the name.
I wrote it down, but I didn't. Apparently.
You guys know at this point that he has, according to the time frame that he was giving you, he's already gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Patrithus puts his hand on her shoulder. He says to her, Junla, we were talking about what we mentioned in the forest before of if we can't manage to convince your father to spirit you away outside the walls of the city. What do you think of that? She takes a moment to think. I'm just afraid that if I stick around too long, that Breathwall's going to stop seeing me as a person and more as just an experiment. You can see that when you saw her before she went into the junction, she was the little 8-year-old girl. And you notice the growing, after she went in and she aged a couple years, you notice the growing intelligence in her. And she looks like she's 14, but she's very intelligent and perceptive and seems to be speaking with the mind of an adult.
I guess before we do anything...
Yeah, she rolled really well on her perspective check.
She's a very high perspection.
I guess the real question here is what you would prefer, because if you don't want to do it, then we're not going to pursue it. But do you want to go to the rest of the junctions? Do you want to figure out what's going on?
She spends a long moment thinking about it. I don't think Breathwall's going to make any progress on trying to figure this out.
We knew more about the junctions than she did when we last talked to her. I believe she did only thought there was 2 junctions.
We did.
That is correct.
We
She
did bring
only
her
think
new
there were 2.
information. Yeah.
I think that going and finding Kalen is the best option if we want to see any real progress in trying to figure this out. I would like to speak with my father, but I don't think he'll see reason. See just a bit of a dejected look on her face.
He wants proof, not reason.
You can't really blame him. You are his daughter. But this seems like something we need to pursue.
We intend to speak with Brothwell ourselves. I've met her and studied.
Don't tell her what your plan is.
Certainly not.
Okay.
We mean to hopefully convince your father with her information and our personal experience that we might leave with you without having to sneak you out of the city. That is going to be our first priority in attempting to successfully do that. Otherwise, well, I believe our minds might be made up on that. So.
And Patrithus says, alright, well, if you all want to go speak with Brothwall, perhaps we can get that figured out. One thing we do need to figure out as well is that if we are going to go into the Shimmerwood in search of Kalen, we're going to need someone that can track, someone that can navigate through that forest. That enchantment's not. Last time we tried to go in there, we got lost on more than one occasion.
It was very bad. It's not a bad idea. Do we know anybody that we could trust? Do that though. The man who helped us last time is back. Would he have come back from
Your friend, the hunter. Is it possible that he would have any knowledge?
Well, I'm not sure if he's went into the Shimmerwood.
Callion?
Yeah.
You know that he's a hunter, but you also know very well that he's not one to really just go off and do things.
What was the name of the elf that was our guide last time that lived in Kesk? I have it written down here somewhere.
Well, if nothing else, you do remember, upon introduction the other night, the Korak is an experienced tracker and navigator of the
I was
Sherwood
wondering if
Forest.
that's where you were leading to.
Yes.
I was wondering about that, but I don't know that.
Wait, you know what? I got a bad impression from that guy. Perhaps we should just not talk to him anymore.
What the fuck is a Korak?
Thora is who you're thinking of. Thora was the husband of the Arway priestess from the city of Kesk that we found. He was the friend and watcher of sorts of the centaur in the woods.
Yes. What I mean, of course, he did say he didn't really want to interfere very much. He kind of just helped us out of necessity at the time.
True.
Perhaps Korok is the better choice. Seems like he probably doesn't want to stay in the city with the currents.
Not without you giving him that hat.
What?
Your hat.
Should I give him my hat?
No, you don't have to do anything. It's your magical
This is
item.
my
I'm
hat.
just simply saying that. Well,
Oh, the other hat.
it was a thought that crossed my mind.
I could give him that.
Why would you want to give him a hat? Why would that change?
Listen, I need as many hats as possible.
The hat of disguise. So people
Oh.
don't simply know that he's an
Oh.
orc.
Half-orcs. Korak was allowed inside the walls of the city during the celebration only because of the
forgot about
little
that.
bit of renown that he earned. Otherwise, half-orcs have not been allowed inside the city since they were turned and rebelled against the elves during the war. And go ahead, and two people that are here that are with this group, just go ahead and roll me insight checks. Just because I'm gonna do a little bit of brevity.
Good.
Just kidding.
Also, don't roll on the table.
Yes.
13.
Okay, so just to speed things up a little bit, you go and speak with Bruthwall.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't. She kind of gives you basically the more or less the same information. With your insight check, you do manage to pull together that there does seem to be a little manicness to her. Not manic, but when she talks about Junla, she doesn't talk about her like she's a girl. She talks about her like she's a test subject.
Can you spell her name for me?
Which one?
Which one?
I don't think I've on any
Dwarf?
Yes.
The Dorgar's name is Bruthwall. Bruthwol.
Broth wall, like soup broth plus wall.
ROTHWOL.
It works.
Yes.
is reading it out like you.
Bruth, sorry. Anyways, so she doesn't seem like she's making any progress. She says that she thinks that she's got a couple different ideas, but she doesn't want to really say much until she figures it out.
Right.
And you manage to kind of gather that maybe she's really not as close as she thinks she is. As for Fenrir and Korak, while you guys are out on the exterior of the city, you, Fenrir, go out with Lune, your direwolf spirit mount. The two of you go through the city to Noldath, the ruins of the exterior town that was outside of Kelisaeri. You got there pretty early, but even then you see that Korak and a few other half-orcs are already at work putting up a few buildings. You see that there are some buildings that are in construction, but they're using a lot of recycled wood. There doesn't seem to be any new timbers that are being used. And the problem of what Cowley was afraid before, that the elves aren't really putting in too much money into helping them, is more and more apparent. And during the time that you're out there, there is at one point for maybe about 2 hours that Adros pops out at one point, your half-elf companion, who he has told you what his plan is, that with his boon that he was granted, that he's going to attempt to raise a griffin. He comes out for an hour or two and gives you guys some help, and the people kind of take to you a little bit. They're very receptive. At first, they were a little bit cold. Some of the half-orcs were distant. But after having come out here for the last couple of days, when you come out this morning, you're greeted with smiles and waves. At one point, you guys break for lunch, have a very small meal, and you guys go back to work. Nothing too crazy going on out in this part. You guys just doing the Sovereign Host's work.
So the lumber and everything that we're using to reconstruct the village and homes and whatnot, you said it's like it's not substantial. It's
Well, it's all old. It's all reused, recycled.
old but chug.
No new
Yeah.
materials for us. We're just
There's
half-orcs.
nothing like in the direct vicinities that like we can chop down trees and use without getting in trouble or anything like that.
A lot of the trees, I mean, there are some that are going and coming back. There are some wagons that are going and getting some of the wood, but a lot of the forest that's around the city was cleared out when there was 20,000 orcs surrounding it. They chopped back several miles worth of wood, so it is very slow going and getting more. And then there's also the fear that if you go too far into the forest, that the enchantments and illusory magic that lie heavy in it, that if people wander too far, that they won't manage to find their way back out.
Okay.
God knows if you'll run into some work out there too.
There is also that fear. There are still while the fighting is stopped, there is still the fear of occasional orc bands that are fled but are still in the vicinity of the city appearing. So without the proper protection of an armed guard, there is fear that something will happen to them.
Orc wouldn't be a problem if you just put the eye in your socket. Just put the eye in.
Just put it in my
That-
empty socket.
Like
That item is reserved for me.
You need a spoon, Cook.
Yeah.
Scoop it out.
Oh man.
But after a day's work, you and Korak go to part ways for you to come back into the city. And as you're coming back, you regroup with the rest of your companions. What do you guys want to do?
Well, I think we have two options, really. I mean, perhaps two options. We either try again to convince the Baron to let his daughter leave, or we sneak her out.
I don't think
You guys want to like tell me what the hell's been going on lately? You know, I've been out in the forest chopping wood.
No, you're okay.
No?
Yes, we went to speak with the Baron about taking June Lot to the rest of the junctions, and talked to her as well, and I've come to the conclusion that we should probably do it.
How's she doing?
She's tired. A lot of a lot of she had a lot of tests run on her. She's not in the best of spirits, and if we're talking to her, she thinks it's best that we do it as well. Her father just seems very opposed.
I don't think we're going to be able to convince him.
Oh,
I
You
don't.
know, we
He
had
seems
trouble
very
with it the
upset.
last time, eh? So it's probably not gonna work this time.
There's also something I'm very curious about. Once we go to see Baron Thunderheart again, Brothwell seemed a little different than last time, a little more frantic, I would say. Something I'm curious about with specifically the Temple of Ara not being active. Just a fear that I would prefer to double check on. I want to make sure that Lord Thunderheart is not under any magical persuasion in this regard. Just something for you to keep an eye out for, on.
I'm not sure. I think he might just be a stubborn man, but I mean, it's not a bad thing, not a bad route to pursue.
Maybe you should try to cast suggestion on the Baron.
Well,
It normally goes really well.
We've got a lot of good things that
Right.
happen from my. Korok, you don't even know us.
That wasn't correct. He's out asleep.
I could try to charm him.
No, your magic always fails.
Every time you do something, something horrible happens.
It's never worked from you, and I would prefer to just circumvent him completely, and just.
We're kidnapping his daughter.
Fenrir,
I mean,
you've been spending time with Korok, right?
Yes.
it sounds fun.
I guess.
We're going to need somebody that can track in the forest. Wondering if he might be willing to help. If we do pursue this.
Where is he?
He's out.
He's sleeping apparently.
He's out on Old
He's in no doubt very building.
No Death. Oh, that's right. You've been in No Death. I haven't went to visit.
I can ask him.
If you don't mind. I don't know if he wants to stay here anyways with the way they're treating the half-orcs.
Yeah, I don't really know what his agenda is. He could want to stay here and continue to rebuild. But I mean, doesn't hurt ever asking.
Perhaps we shall.
I guess we can go out there and go from there. I mean, do you want me to do this? That's something you want me to do alone, or you guys
I mean,
want
we
to
can
come
come with
out
you.
with me, or
Yeah, I'll go.
Well,
you guys
we can all
gonna
go.
go?
Alright. So you guys head back out towards the edge of the city. It's later. It's
What time is it?
like 6 or 7
So
o'clock.
we're definitely still working. All right.
Well, for the most part, it's getting later,
Well,
and it's in the
I'm
fall.
definitely still working.
But you guys go out into Noldath, and you can see that there are some, like I said before, a lot of the half-orcs, as they're turning to look at all of you, there's a lot of distrust, and then when they see Fenrir, it kind of, they just turn and just let you guys pass. And after a little bit of looking around, you see Korak walking along with a beam going over towards one of the haphazard buildings that they're putting together out here.
Boy, Fenrir, you're back.
Oh, you know it. I
Good to see you, my
wouldn't
friend.
leave you hanging.
Oh, thank you. We need everything we can get.
How's things going?
Oh, it's it's what it is.
Shitty wood.
Yeah. Oh, look.
Well, me and my boys here, we have a bit of a request for you, if you wouldn't mind entertaining us for a little bit.
Sure. What's up?
We know that you're experienced in, tracking, and especially in the Shimmerwood. Yes.
Live my entire life here. Yeah.
Well, we have plans to venture out in that area again. Last time we had some difficulties finding our way with the enchantment in the forest. And seeing as you're so experienced, I was wondering if you would consider joining us in our venture out that way.
Well, certainly. I mean, when do you plan on leaving?
I don't know, what do you say, boys?
No, within the next few days, I think.
This
We're
is
really
really
planning
better.
to
We got,
go
if
through with
we're
this.
going to do this, we have to get there before winter arrives.
Indeed. Yes. So.
I mean, I wasn't sure as to your plans, if you were sticking around here
I go where the wind takes me.
it's a good way to go.
So. So. Yeah, we could certainly make arrangements. What would you? 2,000 gold? Roughly?
Oh, well,
Oh, we're hiring you.
Oh, I mean, certainly sounds like it. I mean, a man has to make a living.
I mean, you're welcome to an equal share in everything that we come across. I mean, we're kind of a group in ourselves. I don't know if I've told you. Nocturnum.
I've heard.
Have I
Oh, the
drunkenly
great
raved?
Nocturnum, I've heard, yes.
Yeah.
Sharing the spoils.
there's always an
Plenty
amount
to go around.
of spoils.
Okay. We'll see how that. Which would be great?
We can.
2,000 gold with a share of the spoils.
That will be up to you. We can go from there.
2,000 is a lot of gold.
Full disclosure, though, I
yeah.
probably should tell you what our plan does consist of. Basically willingly kidnapping a daughter from.
How about this? I pull out, reach into my quiver and pull out the Sword of Wounding, and I say, if you prove to do a good job and lead us through this forest, I'll give you this magical sword. Quite powerful. Wielded by an orc warlord. Half
Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin warlord.
What kind of magic?
When you hit targets with it, it causes them to bleed extra viciously.
That sounds lovely. You got yourself a deal, my friend.
That weapon is worth more than 2,000 gold.
Oh, say no more. I would like to spend my remaining time here helping to rebuild. But, just let me know when you're ready to go. And
Yes,
we can
I
make
think
arrangements.
you're on the way out, so I'm sure we'll see you
Not gonna always-
before we leave.
Dork with a
On the
Canadian
way out.
accent.
Never mind.
Strong.
Alright, so what's the plan? How long are you guys waiting?
Well, a day or two?
Do you think that there's any way we could convince someone from the reliquary to at least, the Baron was saying, he'd let her go willingly if someone was, and as he put it, an experienced researcher could assure him.
Do we know anybody in the reliquary? Other than Brothwell?
I could. We do as well. She's not from the reliquary. Would I have a friend in the reliquary? That other than
You would know from having spent some time there that if there was anyone that knew anything about the junctions, it would be Brothwell. That is her forte, her experience in this research. So if there is something that is affecting June Law regarding these arcane junctions, she would be the one to know.
But we're not really keen on letting her know what our real plan is about taking her to the junction points.
Well, my only other thought is to have a conversation with Brothwell and see if she is truly dead in the water on her attempts at research.
Well,
Who's
actually,
Brothwell?
if she is,
This might
this
be.
would be the only chance for her to get new information.
We could.
June Law was also very specific that she didn't want us to mention anything about our plans in Brothwell. Unless you trust her, and I don't know if I do either.
Who's Brothwell?
Oh yeah, I don't know who this Brothwall is, but
She definitely.
if you're looking
she
to do
def-
something in secret,
She definitely was viewing
I could
June more
certainly
like a
cause a
test
distraction
subject.
in the city.
Well, I don't know if
We
half-orc causing a distraction is the best thing after the
I-
recent events.
All I mean is walking around.
Oh, well. Not a bad idea, actually. Now, we have a way of getting her out if we so choose. It's just that... I mean, we're sneaking a girl away from her father.
That's exactly
What
the
the-
point. I just don't want to.
What if we attempt to convince Brothwell that this is the best course of action for completing the research? That allowing us to take June Law under her father's allowance outside the city, that we can be trusted to watch over her through this.
It may not be what June Law specifically wants, but
It's
I don't,
it's not a plan of secrecy.
if we did that, it wouldn't be a kidnapping of a dignitary's daughter.
It's true.
So,
But Patrick did say that he would take the fall for it.
but He's laid his life down for us so many times. I wouldn't feel right about just letting him take another fall.
Oh, a man makes his own decisions.
Except whenever we're the ones deciding what we're going to do, and then he will just simply take a fall for us.
Well, he volunteered.
That Elijah would.
Well,
It's biting.
So what's the plan, guys?
Korak taps his foot impatiently.
Hey, who are we talking about?
Well, it appears that the one that the elves have put in charge of actually looking into the magic that has enchanted Jinla is this dwarf researcher who works in the reliquary.
Durgar, not dwarf.
Durgar, yeah. They're all dwarves.
Excuse me?
You're a dwarf too.
Ixnay on the Durgar egg.
Let's get her the hell out of there. Fuck that guy. Fuck that. Ugh.
They are all meaty, but this one is a woman, so.
Even worse.
Well, I don't know.
So
Do lots of votes about it.
I suppose you're right. We spoke with Prothwell already. Just being hopeful, I guess, isn't going to help anything.
I guess try one last time to convince her father, but if we do that, then he's going to know for sure that we're the ones that took her when she's gone.
Well, it's very true. He's going to know anyways. He knows what we intend to do.
Not to mention we won't be here in the city. He may be irrational, but he's an intelligent man. We'll definitely put two and two together.
Well,
Any of you want to use your
He's
boom on
going
this?
to know and find out either way.
That's something I definitely want to do before we leave. I've been thinking about it. I don't know about you guys. I definitely want to go and see the Empress before we leave. About my boon. I don't know if anybody else is going
I
to join me in that.
don't have. I have an idea for my boon, but it's not. I'm going to need time for it. It's not something that can be accomplished right away. So I'm not going to use it yet. We have more pressing matters.
We'll be back in the city.
Yeah, we're gonna
anyway.
be coming back.
Alright. So you want to use some time tomorrow to go speak with the Empress about your boon?
Perhaps we can come up with a plan. Talk to Patrick again. See if he believes there's any way to convince the Baron. If not, then see what he thinks about taking her.
Yeah.
Okay.
See you later, guys. I'm gonna be out here.
You out there?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be out.
Okay. So you guys leave Korak to go back into the city. And again, for just a little bit of brevity, you kind of get the idea of whenever speaking with Patrick this, that after you guys left, the Baron was kind of on a tear and was not super pleased. Seemed to be in a pretty foul mood over the whole thing. And doesn't seem like he'll be super amenable to it.
Well then.
But I mean, he didn't bring up the subject directly because he was afraid of how he would react. But yeah,
I wasn't particularly convincing. Conversations like that aren't particularly my forte.
Yes, I spoke up more, but I was not in good mind yet.
But so you guys go and take your night's rest. Patrick is saying that he will speak with you guys tomorrow as to what kind of plan to get her out of the city, out of the house, so that you guys can go. The next morning, however...
that night before we decide,
Sure.
can I... I'm going to send a sending to Kalen and just ask... just send it, be like, Kalen, I think we'll go getting ready to leave the city with Junla. How are you doing?
There's a little bit of time that passes, and then you get a response. It says, "We will be ready when you arrive." I'm not gonna count. "We'll be ready when you arrive. The woods are fraught with danger. Orcs roam the woods. Let us know when you leave."
And I'll relay that information to everybody. Seems there's plenty of orcs in the woods still, so we should be extra careful when we're out there.
Well, that's another thing. How are we going to meet up with that thing? Do we know of any particular landmarks, natural or otherwise, that we will be able to meet up with in the Shimmerwood, or at least around it?
I believe she's at... I would have messaged her back and make sure to get the junction already.
She gives your response and says, "We're near the junction. However, it appears that there are creatures that have taken over and reside there. Too dangerous to approach."
Then near the junction, perhaps we can find some sort of map in the forest that will give us a better idea how to get there. Because we don't know the actual, exactly where it is in the forest, no.
You know, kind of from her instruction, that it's on the west side of the forest from where you are, probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks through the forest to find it. You also know that you could potentially just use sending to help kind of communicate and gather, talk with her to figure out where to go.
Casting spells in the forest was not working so well before.
This is true.
Oh, man. Forgot about that.
But this is also the reason for hiring a tracker.
Yes. So if we head west, we'll probably be pretty good. I guess let's get on with it then.
Okay. So, you guys awake the next morning as some of you get ready to go. Fenrir, you go to the Empress. Same kind of deal as before. You get to her large tent, and as you are escorted in to her room where she sits on her temporary throne, you see her sitting with her gray and sallow skin, the glowing etch marks of Illyrium on her flesh, and her low glowing red eyes. She smiles at you. "Good morning, Fenrir. What can I do for you?"
Good morning, Empress. How are you feeling?
"About the same. Not much has changed."
I hope you continue to improve throughout the days. I do have a favor to ask of you if you're still willing to grant.
"Of course. If this is the implementation of your boon,
It
I
is.
will see it. If it is within my power, I will see it done."
Well, I've honestly been... my father disappeared not too long ago, but there's just been no sign of him. He took a job sailing and just disappeared. I don't know, there's no sign of him, no wreckage, no confirmation or denial of whether he's alive or dead. I searched myself for as long as I could until, my adventures brought me here. But it's a big mystery, and I don't. It just has not sat well with me. I've also, when my father was around, he told me stories of the family back east, and I've never been that way. I've only heard rumors of doors being closed, nobody's been in or out for years. And
Jeez. Nods her head. Yes, the family back east, as you call them. The dwarves have not responded in any way, shape, or form to any method of communication. They've attempted to send ambassadors to use magic to try to understand what it is, and something stops us. The gates to the city have disappeared. We've been unable to find them. The ancient paths that lead are gone. It's as if the city never existed. We've tried everything that we can to communicate with them, but to no avail. However, to your father, what is his name?
his name is Faber.
Faber. And do you have any of his possessions with you? Anything that I could use to try to help focus in on him?
I'll have to get back to you on that.
If you can find something, it will make being able to find him much easier. Any kind of focus.
Okay.
Anything that is close to his possession. Anything he held dearly.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely.
I will do what I can with just his name, but I can't make any promises.
Well, I'll go around and see what I have back in my possessions, and if I have something, I'll be sure to run it to you before we leave.
Okay.
But thank you. I appreciate your time. Again, best of wishes. I hope you are feeling better soon.
She bows her head. You make your way out of the tent. So, the rest of you. You guys get together, speak with Patrithus. What's the plan? He says to you guys, I can manage to get June-Law out of the house, but if I can get her out of the house and get her into your, get her to you quickly, you'll only have a limited amount of time before you, my cousin finds you. Finds out that she's missing. So if I can get her to you, you'll have to be quick. So as soon as we start, things will go fully into motion. Can you be ready for that? And you have rejoined as well.
Oh, okay.
With the Temple of Arts down, options are a little more wide. The Temple of Arts still being down, our options are a lot more hopeful in making this smooth.
Oh. Do you want to try to get her out at night? Do you want to go in the afternoon when there's still people walking about the city to help mask your passage through the city? Which would you prefer?
I can turn her invisible if need be, so.
A lot of us can turn a lot of people invisible.
Okay, well, fine.
Sorry, I'm a little snappy. This plan is making me very nervous. It's not a plan at all. Just kidnapping a child.
How much?
It's like I was trying to
Roll a man.
we do. It
Oh.
may not be what June Law particularly wants, but we do manage to convince.
There's no convincing we have to kidnap her. We've already decided.
Did we?
Yes.
You realize, in speaking with her before, Brothwall seemed very convinced that she could figure out what was happening. And yeah, she seemed very convinced that she could figure it out. There didn't seem like any potential opportunity to convince her otherwise. She seemed very excited about her studies, about her case subject.
Very well then. Yes.
Essentially, Lord Thunderheart trusts Berthwell more than anybody else in this matter. Can't say I'm wrong.
Well,
What do you guys think? Day or night?
Night.
Well, how's how the guards been during daytime versus nighttime? If you're wandering the sea at night, does it seem like they are patrolling a lot more because it's still sort of in this?
the guards are heavily patrolling the streets all times of the day or night. This, like I said before, the city is still under martial law, and without the Templavara enacted at this point, the guards are... I don't want to say they're being more brutal, but they are much more under suspicion that, for the most part, if they see people just casting spells, they are getting arrested.
Well,
I think
if that is the case, perhaps we should go in the day and rely on being visible in plain sight amongst the crowds of other people.
We already have a somewhat young girl traveling with us, and haven't really been questioned about it. And traveling at night may...
Two young girls.
Traveling at night may arouse more suspicion.
So I guess we're going for a
Days
daytime venue.
Yes.
Do you want later this afternoon, or do you want to wait until tomorrow?
We might as well do it today. The sooner the better.
We just have to get Korok.
Alright.
Alright.
Oh, do you plan on coming with us, or are you just going to sneak it to us and stay here?
And he kind of gestures to his missing arm, and he says, I don't know how much help I'll be out in the field, but someone's got to be here to calm down my cousin.
Alright.
So, if you want to go and get your things ready, I'll meet you in a couple hours.
7.
Could I have reattuned to my hat of disguise and got rid of the brooch of shielding? Is that
Yeah.
cool? Alright. So and it looks exactly like the hat that I wear at normal times.
As you guys see, for about an hour,
Big old
while Zarn is
big
attuning to this hat, he takes off his big wide brim hat with the big feather, and he puts on a hat that basically looks like a big sock. And you see him sit there for about an hour with it on. And then he thinks, and it appears that it's the same hat that he had on before appears on his head. So, is there anything else that you guys want to do in the city that you can do in about the span of about an hour, hour and a half before you head off into the forest?
Well, how are we on supplies?
I mean, you guys have plenty of trail rations still. We're kind of at the point in the campaign that unless you guys are out in the woods for weeks at a time, then we might have to worry about it. But for the moment, you guys probably have enough to get somewhere that it's a week and a half out.
Do you think any of the stores have replenished on healing potions in case?
We could try real quick.
You guys remember that the potion vendor that you guys bought from before, he died.
Shit.
Let's go loot his shit.
Yeah, where was his shop?
Oh yes, I kind of pat my loot.
He might have left the door locked
The champions
while
of
he
the
was
city.
out on an excursion. Died, and his house is full of wares.
He died in his shop. But Anything else?
Well, I took down a few more spells. Only 2 for last night. Well,
Okay. Just so you know, the reliquary at 4th level spells is where they stop having options to everything.
Right.
It starts becoming more and more limited at that point.
Yeah.
Just so you're aware.
Yep.
Because getting up to like 5th level spells is not something that the average wizard gets to. Or just in general, casting that high level of spells is not something that every spellcaster in the world gets to. Spells start to become more rare and aren't as documented. So,
Cody, would I have a possession of favors? I mean, I didn't write anything like that, so
it's not in your inventory.
What?
What's your
sailor.
Well, perhaps
We can talk about it. You might have something, but for the moment, you are a little bit pressed for time.
Okay.
So it might be something you
Perhaps
can
we
do on
can
your
still
return.
just make do with what we can find in the forest. I do know how to craft some potions with herbs and from things we can find out in nature.
I think we do have some potions.
Sorry.
I have a few potions of my own.
I think I've used all mine.
I have some.
Ah. Alright. So, as you guys go, and you guys go towards near where Patrithus is, where their estate is, as you guys kind of standing around, waiting anxiously, you see Patrithus come out with Junla walking out with her, bundled up in a heavy cloak, with a small pack on her back. Walks out. Looks at her. Junla, be safe. These people, they'll take care of you, alright? Alright, Uncle Pat. Just turns. Are you guys ready?
I'm going to cast Pass Without a Trace on our group. I don't know if that's going to matter as much in the daytime.
Make a sleight of hand check.
Let's do it.
Liv is doing things again.
Have the cursed dice, right?
That's not good.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Oh, I missed the one.
Although, I will use luck just because. Just to see. Okay, the first one. 16.
16. Okay, so you cast Pass Without a Trace without any of the guards noticing you casting spells. And as you all start making your way out of the city, just everyone go ahead and just roll stealth checks just because. See how without note you guys are able to pass through without any citizens noticing you guys.
Blue dice.
I'm looking for critical.
Remember to add +10 to all your stealth checks, including for you and Lune, which
And my bunch of zombies.
I have to roll with disadvantage.
actually technically you and Lune should both be rolling with disadvantage because Lune also wears heavy armor.
Okay.
But
25.
32.
Oh, 19 total.
Oh, yeah, you're not there.
13 for Cobra and 25.
You're still
24.
so you guys pass through and not walking on like the main streets and kind of taking some alleys where you guys can. You guys eventually make your way towards the gate, and you guys walk through. I mean, the guards notice you, but they don't really seem to stop or ask questions, and you guys just manage to just kind of pass by without any notice. And
Without a trace.
you guys
Gliding by them for all
going through Noldath find Korak, and you guys head west into the forest, into the Shimmerwood. And with that, we're going to take a little break. We'll be back in a couple minutes for probably nobody that's watching.
Edit that
It
out.
was actually like.
Yeah, we're not going to edit that
There's
out.
probably 50,000
And,
people tuning in right
We
now.
will
This is live, Troy. There's no editing.
we'll see you guys in a couple minutes.
What do you mean, play us out?
And we're back. So,
Hey!
by the way, are you on my Wi-Fi?
No.
Okay, good. Don't be on my Wi-Fi if you're watching the stream,
I'm not either.
No, because it's not
because
playing.
it messes up the internet. So,
Quality internet out here.
let's get right back to where we were. So, you guys just met up with Korak, and you guys were heading west towards the Shimmerwood. Korak, you see the group all together, and in their companion is a girl who looks like she's about 14 years old. Same description I was saying before, the caramel-colored skin, kind of shorter, dark hair, with the strangely, like it almost draws your gaze to it, the color of her eyes, from looking like diamond. As you all head towards the Shimmerwood, Korak, I need you to roll me a survival check. And I'll say with advantage.
With advantage, good. Great. Oh, that's 17.
17, okay. So, you are familiar with the Shimmerwood, and you know that it is heavily laden with illusory magic and enchantment magic that, if you let your mind drift for even but a second, you can lose your way in this forest. It hides all traces of your path as you travel. They're there if you know how to look for it. You are very well practiced in this, and you start to lead the group through the forest, and you have, and for the next several days of travel into the forest as you guys go, it goes by pretty uneventfully for the most part. There's a lot of the forest that, where when you went through before, you heard the sounds of wildlife, of birds, of different things that were going through, and there's a lot less of it now. Understandably, seeing as there was just an orc army that just ravaged through half the forest. As you go for a couple days, you start to see occasionally signs of other humanoids that have passed through here. You find the occasional orc boot. You find occasionally a group of them that are dead on one occasion. And somebody roll me a medicine check.
25.
Okay. So the first group that you come across while you're going, you see that they looked as if that they were mauled on, that they were, something attacked them and was savagely biting into them. But there's also traces of stab wounds, slashes from they're too pristine to be, they're too finely
It's not
cut.
an animal that was eating out of hunger. This was killed out of malice.
Yeah, I mean, you get that it's not, it's definitely something that wields weapons. It's not slashing into them with claws.
Really that?
Orcs in the forest, it might not be
A
an
rogue
evil
bang.
creature that killed the orcs. I mean, orcs are orcs. No offense.
They could be killing each other.
I assume that you held a conversation with Kalen before going into the forest with ascending.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, to actually like nail down where you guys are going.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, it came down to travel like west by northwest, so just slightly north of straight west from the city. Travel for about a week, and she thinks that she'll be able to nail down your location and help find you guys at that point. So,
I do have that compass too, so if we need help with
you
the
do have the
direction.
compass, and it does work in this forest. So as you guys are going, you are getting close to about the time that you should be meeting up with Colin and Suthera. Everybody go ahead and roll me perception checks.
I think you mean.
No, I meant what I said.
Perspective check, boys.
You get your This is your goddamn advantage. With your
I get advantage with Lunatic, yeah.
I'll say yes for
I need to
Lunatic.
go to a convention and get new dice.
I'm getting new dice soon. Like tonight, I'm ordering. 9.
17.
7.
21.
13.
Lunatic is 18 and Fenrir is
Oh, bitch.
8.
So, Aber, as you guys are traveling along, you hear cackling? No? Laughter? It doesn't sound like human laughter, but you hear...
Does it bring forth memories of a hag? Or a
No.
harpy?
No, this sounds almost... It sounds guttural, more animal-like. And you hear barking in the distance. Louder than I was expecting it to be.
So yeah.
Do I see any tracks?
Make a survival check.
Relay the information.
That is a 19.
19.
Some sort of dog.
Looking around, you see that there are a few tracks of boots, as well as what look like large, like, paw prints. And they're not running in... It's strange. It's not running with 4 legs. It's running with 2.
Oh.
Bipedal, whatever it is.
I would relay that information and then ask, are you looking for a fight?
Would I have any idea what any kind of bipedal two-legged dog creatures?
Go ahead and roll me a nature check.
Out of character, I know what this is. I don't know.
Darn it. 6. There's a 17 that I rolled off my book.
Not really sure.
I don't know what that is.
I mean, is this something native to the Shimmerwood? Would I know?
One more nature check.
19.
19. So, you know that there have been incidents with werewolves in the forest. But looking at these are too small.
Oh,
They're big, but they're not large enough. Werewolves have more elongated feet. These look like very large dog footprints.
Sorry, I've been on this before.
You think that these might be gnolls.
Alright. So, like I said, looking for a fight.
And as you're looking at it, you hear again. It sounds like cackling hyenas,
Not
kind of echoing out through the wood ahead of you.
Not really, Quack. Every time I've cast magic in this forest, bad things have happened to me. I prefer not to fight anything if I don't have to.
Well, okay then. And I try to direct us away from the tracks, but still in the direction we're going. Away from where the tracks are headed, slash the noises are coming from.
Are the tracks going in the direction that we're going?
That's a better question.
Roughly. I mean, it's a little bit off angle.
So we're gonna circle around.
How much time do you think that would take?
How much time do I think that?
You don't know how far ahead they are of you at this point.
Well, I don't know where we're going in here, so you just lead me.
What time is it roughly?
Mid to late afternoon.
Oh, so we got tons of time.
think I don't want to stray too much from our path, so maybe we should be prepared for a fight, but try to get around them.
Fair enough. Let's try this, and I'll cast Mage Armor on myself.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a percentile. No, I'm sorry, roll me a d20, not a percentile.
Okay. Oops. I didn't mean to roll that. 4. Oh, yes.
Okay. You cast your spell. You feel that familiar arcane shimmer go over your body of your mage armor enacting. You're fine. So, as you go to start moving around, I need everybody to go ahead and roll stealth checks.
It's past the trace still.
Oh no, this has been several days.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's good.
Wait, okay, then I get my spell back.
You could choose to do it if you want.
Just stealth.
Evan, it's too late.
Wait,
There's
you are?
no, there's no going back. No, I said it's too late. There's no going back.
Okay.
You might need that spell slot.
I might have to cast heat metal on something.
I don't think there's any town guards nearby.
Oh, I should roll for July as well.
Ooh. You get a message from Master Geese that says that.
Watch out for Lily and her heat metal spell.
Master,
It's super effective against town
It's been
guards.
ages. How's the little man
So.
in the rod?
Stealth checks.
20.
13.
Natural 1.
15.
16 for Fenrir and
Did you roll both with disadvantage?
yes,
Okay.
and 18 for Luna.
Holy crap.
15.
I rolled really well.
Okay.
The worst part about this, you just rolled 4 really good rolls, so you know
Put the
the
next one
one's gonna be
check.
shit.
So,
Rusty?
as you all start going through the forest, trying to be as quiet as you can,
And then Zone.
travel on for about 3 or 4 minutes. And Zarin, you look around. You don't see your companions.
Oh no.
You look back and see that he's maybe 50 feet behind you.
Okay.
You managed to catch a glimpse of him, but the magic has hidden them from your sight at this point. And as you're looking around,
This is not like this
you
music.
hear that the cackling has stopped. Zarin, as you're looking around, you see, coming through the bushes, you see
I cast Greater Invisibility on myself.
before you have the ability to do anything, you see the scrunched up face of a dog-like creature, kind of glowing yellow eyes, teeth bared as drool begins rolling down its face. I need everyone to go ahead and roll initiative.
We saw him too.
You know the
right?
problem?
We
I'm
saw
used to
him.
having the hat that's different weight, hat weight. It's my balance is
I
off.
was gonna say your natural one was my hat. Oh, and your hand passed through it because you changed hats.
My hat, my different hat on normal, but like there's no wind blowing through it
I
anymore.
hate him so much.
I actually am having a pretty good night with the dice, so
Am I allowed to
Maybe
use
I won't
luck
buy
on
a new set.
initiative rolls?
This is the first one in a long
Yeah.
time for me.
I'm
That's
gonna
funny.
freaking use luck.
Am I still rolling initiative for both of us?
You are now going to be doing
that was a
both
20 that got knocked
for
back
yourself.
by this.
So
Or you're
obviously you roll
you
one
are doing.
I'll use
I'm
this,
letting you control
11.
on my
Lune.
turn.
A thing to note, which I think that we still need to talk about, you can't. Actually, no, I forgot. You have that saddle, so that's the only reason I'm allowing you to use a two-hander on the mount, because you should have to be holding on to it.
Okay.
But because you have that magical saddle, it helps keep you into it.
Okay.
And he's a mounted combatant now, too.
And he's a mounted combatant, yes.
Wait for
So,
This still lets you use 2 handers?
while mounted on Lune.
No, I mean mountain combatant does.
No, he has a magical saddle.
No, I know.
that-
He did that.
but yes, he also took that feat.
That gives a lot of cool stuff.
So yes, only one initiative then?
Yeah. So Zarin, you're about there.
Damn it, Zarn.
And
This stupid bitch.
Whoa! I'm not giving you the sword now.
Anger.
Well, that wasn't Korak.
Why did
Oh,
you
me.
allow that
But I think
completely
you were
random
sort of
number
right.
to happen to you?
Did you
I
not
said
give
if
it
he
to
did a good job, I'd give him the sword.
He didn't say that,
Oh.
and that's what I heard.
Oh.
At some point, I'll probably be like, hey, it'd
Has
probably
the
be a
carrot.
wise idea.
Let's
to
give
get
you
that
the
right
sword
now.
while you're our companion traveling with us. Yeah, that's what I was expecting. But yeah, you know.
Okay, so I don't have the pieces that I'm looking for.
Kobolds.
But no, I don't have it all.
You're gonna take your turn. Give me the sword. I hold and
That's
wait
my.
for him.
I'll hold my action until he gives me the goddamn sword.
Okay. So just so you guys know, pretty much anything that's straight through where you guys came from, which I guess I could probably just grab a marker and draw that.
Don't you dare. You bastard.
Anything that's basically in between these two lines is not difficult terrain.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, it is. Which
Okay.
actually, this one should be a little bit more over here. But
We need some of the
Uh,
on the map.
initiatives.
Turn.
I get manager initiative. First roll was a 4, so that helped.
I need to not use spell attacks because my rolls are garbage.
All right, initiatives. 25 to 20.
21.
23.
Uh, 20 to 15.
14. Oh, sorry.
That's not. Yeah.
Sorry. Math is hard.
Dwarves.
Number comparison.
15 to 10.
10.
12, 14.
I also got a 10.
Wow. Rusty. That is awesome.
It is, isn't it? Right?
This music is just horrifying.
Battle music.
Dude, that last song that played while you that was.
All right, so 14. Then what was next? What was after? Who was under
Someone had
Fenrir?
12.
12.
And me and Rusty had a 10.
Oh, Zorn had 12.
Music that played while Fenrir was talking to the Empress was perfect.
Okay, which one of you two wants to go first?
Me.
Killed it.
I need to get into this while stuff is still alive.
What did you think that these might be?
Knowles?
How do you spell that? Do you know?
GNOLLS.
Fenrir, Zarn, Bear. Oh.
For all you viewers out there, get ready because shit is about to hit the
Someone is calling for me to kill you. Just to let you know. I don't know who it is.
Fuck.
Wait, to kill Troy?
No, to kill Tim.
Willy.
Oh, that's okay then.
They haven't seen me
Yeah.
in action yet.
By the way, I want to see you with the eye in and slowly getting like cute little fangs in your ears already because they're gonna start becoming orc.
That's so cute.
I had a great pitch.
Super powered.
Is Orc Kasumi?
Okay, for the moment, because
I'll raise an army
I
of
don't have
20,000 orcs.
another card, Lune is going to be Julon. So,
Hey, you already have your first slave right here.
on the surprise round,
Good luck.
Oh, fuck. I get a surprise round.
two of the Knolls come running up on you, and actually this one had to do a special action as it uses sudden rush to charge forward and gets to make one bite attack against you. Yeah, okay. Makes a bite attack against you, Zarn, which is that's a sorry. Okay. That's a 16 versus armor class.
That's a hit.
Okay. So you take 6 points of damage. As the other one comes running up on you, and as it pulls out these two long, rusty long swords.
Rusty longswords?
Yep. Comes running at you for 3 attacks. 2 long swords. So the first one is a 14
It's a miss.
Second one is a 21,
That's a hit.
and the bite was lower than the first one. So longsword
Fine, everything's fine here.
deals 7 points of damage to you
Oh.
Ow.
as these ones here come moving up this way and are pulling out their longbows and shooting at the group here, flanking in on you guys. Okay, so they're going for 2 shots on Lune and then 2 shots on Albert.
I suppose this is the surprise round now.
Yeah. Oh, and then this one as well is 30. Okay. 2 shots against Lune are a 20 and a 16.
If I die on the first day that we
They
scream.
should have disadvantage.
Okay, so then the first attack was a 16,
That'd be awesome.
Missed.
Kind of. Not really.
and the second attack is even lower. So the first 2 shots go wide as they miss, and then 2 shots against Albert. That's a 25 and a 16.
First one hits, second one.
Okay, so you take 5 points of damage, and as the arrow comes sinking in, it sinks into the back of your leg as your movement speed is reduced by 10 feet. As the next one comes running up on July, the little girl.
I want to buy you fucking pencils.
What's a pencil?
You see, as this one comes running up, goes in for a bite against June Law. She turns and throws her hands up, and as she does, you guys see her skin suddenly hardens into diamond as it sinks into her flesh and doesn't manage to pierce her skin. And the creature pulls back, kind of not understanding what to do in this situation. But as it does, it pulls out its 2 long swords. Now we're at the top of initiative. Sindal, you're up.
2 long swords?
Yep. Sorry, I know I'm...
Yeah, I know you're good.
They're rusty longswords.
Here, let me...
Why are you trying to kill us?
My whole acting normally in the first round, even if
You guys
I
know.
get
So you-
surprised.
One there.
Oh, I didn't know you had that.
Well, the way I read it was different from I think what's going on.
If I remember correctly from your ability, is that if you rage,
Correct.
if you spend a rage, you cannot be surprised.
Correct. Well, okay, we'll talk
Which
about
means
it
you
later.
get to
Doesn't
act
matter.
normally.
It doesn't matter right now.
Okay.
We'll talk about it later.
All right.
Sindal.
I will. He got pretty well hacked up, right? Like pretty bad.
Zarn?
Yeah.
I mean, he got hit.
Okay.
Got double tapped.
Cool. Let me get my spell.
They're not saying stuff.
Double tap.
Double tap back.
It could get worse.
Could get worse real fast. I will. I'm beside one, huh?
You are here.
Yeah. So he's right on top of me.
No, he's not. The enemy's not in melee with you. It's in melee with Fenrir, Junla, and Albert.
Oh, that one's.
No, this is Korak.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay. All right. I'm gonna take a few steps away from the group, backwards, away from the bad guy too. Just that's it. Yep.
Okay.
And I'm going to, I guess, the one closest to Troy.
This one here?
Or Zarn, I should say.
Yeah.
I'm going to cast a 2nd level Ray of Sickness.
Okay, go and roll your attack roll.
14.
14, that is a hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Didn't take long.
8 plus. 20 points of necrotic damage.
Go ahead and roll me d20 as well.
19.
Okay. And then what is the effect of your spell?
Let me make
sure.
He's
It's,
making
I believe it's a Constitution saving throw, or he's poisoned.
Okay.
Is that the one against the one the melee? The one in melee range?
The one.
That's the one that's on
farthest out.
Zarn.
Oh, okay.
And it's poisoned, correct?
Poison.
long spell.
Yeah, what is the range on it?
Oh, 60 feet.
80 feet?
60.
Oh. You would actually need to move closer. 60 feet's out of range.
That's fine. Move closer.
Okay. We'll just say you move up this way. Okay, and as you pull back your hand and throw out your spell, you all see this glowing green energy fly out from his hand and hit into the creature. And Zarn, you see it recoil back in pain as you start to see some of the muscle mass dwindling a bit. The creature does not look good after that hit. Korak, you're up.
I'm going to schwap that guy in the fucking head that's standing there.
Okay.
And natural one.
Okay, so you run up for your first attack, and you go in for a swing, and seeing the sudden diamond-coated skin of Junlaw kind of distracts you as you go in for your swing.
Blinds me. Yeah, we'll go for another one.
Earning your stripes already.
That isn't still not good, but it's 15.
I was going to say.
15's a hit.
The boy,
Nice.
The boy
Go ahead and roll your damage.
Yeah.
I'm stupid. I forgot to rage. So that's 9.
Okay.
9 damage.
Okay,
And then I
and-
would like to rage.
Okay. And are you? Did you attune to the longsword yet, or you
He
haven't
didn't
gotten
give
it
me
yet?
the long.
Okay, so you just have
I
your
got my
hammer.
warhammer.
It's
Okay.
it's a reward for a job well done.
I
If I
understand.
die, I mean,
So as you come running around on this,
Sword could've saved.
the sudden change in Junlaw's skin kind of distracts you from it, and your anger just come back and just swing down with your hammer and hit it straight down into the back, and you hear it let out a yelp of pain as it turns and bares its fangs at you and growls as it turns its attention more towards you. Which next is the enemies.
Great beer.
Silly names.
Let me double check something here. Okay. So, the two that are against their prey here are going to go ahead and make their attacks against you. The one is disadvantaged because of the poison.
nice.
That's definitely a miss. That's a natural 2 on the first one. The second attack is a 22.
That's a hit.
You take 10 points of damage. And the third attack, which is the bite, is it's a 14 versus armor class.
Nice.
Okay. And then the other one makes its 3 attacks. Ooh, that's not good for you. The lowest out of that's a 20.
Ooh, that's a hit.
Okay. Alright, so the first attack does 7 points of damage. The second attack does 5 points of damage. And the third attack does 6 points of damage.
Ow.
You still up?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay, yeah, so as the first one goes
Bleeding
in,
everywhere. Rusty wounds.
you can see the first one is recoiling back from the poison, and as it's recoiling back, the other one just pushes it out of the way and just goes in for a full swing against you. The longsword's cutting against you, not managing to cut fully through your armor, but you are not feeling it not feeling good as it lunges in for a bite and it sinks into your shoulder, and you just feel it growling, and you almost feel like pure ecstasy come from this creature as it pulls back and blood is just dripping from its maw. The other ones here continue to move around into flanking. They go for the one goes for 2 shots, 2 against Korak, and then the other 2 are against Lily.
You say shots?
Yeah, bow shots. The first one is a 10, and the second is a 24?
Both against me?
Yeah.
Second one hits.
Okay. You take 11 points of damage halved,
Right.
and then your movement speed is reduced by 10 feet, as these are well-placed shots that are going into your guys' legs that they're hitting you and intentionally hamstringing
So
you.
that's not my 5, right? Not
Yeah,
6.
that knocks it down to 5 points of damage, correct.
It's just my pencil and my pen.
And then the other one takes 2 shots against Lily.
10. Yeah, no.
Oh, your movement speed is reduced by 10, but that doesn't
Right.
really make much difference. The 2 shots against Lily go wide. Your small little legs are just a little too small, and they hit into the dirt. And then the third one turns and goes into full swings against Korak. The first one's like a 22. It's 22 to hit, and then the next highest is a 13.
22 hits. The other one.
Okay, so it hits with a bite. So that only does 5 points of damage reduced to 2. And so that's their turn. Fenrir, Lune, you're up.
Okay. I'll have Lune attack the nearest target.
Okay, there's one against you guys in melee.
And that is...
Was it natural 18?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's definitely it.
Just don't follow that.
Can
Sure. So big thing.
do you 8. That's just for me. That won't be for Lune.
Oh.
So 8.
8 math. So good at it. Okay.
And DC 14.
Yeah, so as this thing goes into full slashes against Korak, he's kind of managing to bat it back a little bit, and the teeth sink into it. And then in response, Lune lunges forward and sinks her teeth into this creature's back and lifts it up and slams it down onto the ground. And yeah, just so you know, these are not
DC 13.
a roll a natural one.
Okay.
And just so you know, these are not small creatures. Each of these things stand at minimum, like, they're somewhere between 7 to 8 feet tall. And they're just these hunched dogs. As Lune picks it up and slams it down. What do you... Lune still has a movement, and what do you...
That thing's... It's still alive.
It's alive, but it's prone.
Okay. I mean, am I able to reach it?
Yeah.
I'll attack it then.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an attack roll with advantage because it's prone.
Oh, crit.
Bam!
Yeah, if you rolled a 20, you don't need to roll a second roll.
I wanted to see if I could.
So go ahead and roll your... Oh, man.
With his sword?
4d12.
You crit?
Can we just call it dead?
I'm going to see the damage. Go ahead and roll 4d12.
I need another d12. That's a... Yeah. That rolls. Those aren't too bad then.
Plus your strength.
That is 30 points of damage.
God. Yeah, you... Lune slams this thing down on its back, and you just bring in your axe, and you just... Like butter, just fucking off of its head, and it just lies there on the ground. Lune still has its movement, and... Lune still has her movement,
Okay.
and... Zarn is in trouble. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna hop over to him.
Lune has 50 feet of movement?
Yes.
5, 10, 20, 25, 30, 45, 50. That puts you into melee range with one of them. If you want to use your second attack.
I do.
Go ahead and make your attack roll.
That's a hit.
Okay, so
19.
just go ahead and just roll a d12 plus your strength. Well, plus your damage.
Oh shoot! I keep forgetting. I get +1s on all that stuff. So that is 15 points of damage.
Okay, yeah, as Lune comes running up on this creature. You swing up with your axe and slam it down as it was kind of pushed back from the one attacking Zarn before. Your axe just slams down right through its clavicle into its chest, and you can feel as it pierces through lung. As the creature tries to let out a yelp, as you just pull back, it just falls away.
Just call me the Juggernaut.
Zarn.
I cast greater invisibility on myself.
Okay. So you see Fenrir, you see Zarn having just been attacked by these things. He does not look good. You can see blood coming out of the wounds. You just see him disappear.
And then I fucking run.
I guess I didn't realize you needed health.
So where are you running to?
Just the direction that he came from.
Okay. As you go to run, though, gets an attack of opportunity with disadvantage. That's 14.
Miss.
Okay. As it slashes out with its long sword, you 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Lily, you're up. There are the two that are in the forest, as well as the one that's back on the path.
Is there like a lot of space in this area? Was there a lot of space?
There's not a lot of space just anywhere in general with the forest. The canopy is still... Actually, I need you to roll a d20. I forgot about that. Both of you, anytime either one of you two cast spells, I need you to roll a d20.
14.
Okay, you're fine.
I never forget about that.
You're fine. But no, the canopy is like bearing over top of you guys. It's just the fact that you guys were marching through here, and with Lune's size, it kind of naturally knocks down some of the shrubbery as you guys are going.
All right. I'm gonna cast Produce Flame.
On who?
On the one nearest. I think it's out there.
Oh, reliable.
These are the only two. This is this is Korak.
Oh, okay.
I know he's not painted yet. I'll have him painted for next week.
And that one up top.
Okay, you can paint it. This one here.
Yeah. The one
All right,
up
go ahead and make
top.
an attack roll.
Jeez. 17.
17. That's a hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Here it is. 7, because I guess nothing gets added to it.
It should be 2d8 for cantrips at this level.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Okay, I just want to make sure. And how much was it again? Sorry.
Terrible roll.
How much was it?
7.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna cast as a bonus Healing Word on Zarn.
Can't see me.
No. Oh yeah. No, you have
Just
no idea
kidding.
where he is.
Yep, never mind. I'm not gonna do that.
Do you have to be able to see him for healing
I was
word,
wondering that,
or is it just able to hear you?
Well, let's look real quick.
Well, I mean,
Well,
I'd imagine it would.
Don't you
require
have to get the
some
card in front of you?
healing word right here that you can see.
Okay, so no.
Just kidding.
All right. So that was Lily's turn. I'll bear.
All right. Are these other two like in the bushes, like firing arrows at us? How visible are they?
I mean, they're visible. I mean, they have some cover, but they're visible.
Okay. I'm gonna lob a guiding bolt at the one that just shot me.
So that would be this one. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
Level 1.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. That's gonna be an 11.
11. As you pull back it, you throw your guiding bolt. This bolt of divine light goes arcing towards it, and it manages to duck against the trees. It slams into it and leaves a scorch mark on it. But yeah. Anything else? Are you going to move, or?
I'll move forward to my maximum. What you said I'm already
Like
reduced
towards
by.
them?
No.
Like
Forward
this
down
way.
the trail.
Okay.
No, other way.
Oh, you guys were going this way. That's why. 5, 10, 15, 20. Good.
Yes.
Okay. So, Korak, you see Junla look around nervously. You see her, and Lily, you see this as well. You see her face stern with resolve. She kind of holds up her hand, and you see glow of light come from her hand. She points it out towards one of the knolls, and she flares her hand, and you see this bolt of glowing energy, not divine like his. Looks like it's very bright, and almost looks like that she's literally shooting a small star out of her hand as it goes arcing towards the knoll, one of the knolls there. And she manages to hit.
I thought she was gonna go diamond claws.
Just shred shit.
She's shredding.
As you see it arc out into the woods and slam into this knoll, and you see that as it does it, it just burns away at the creature's face, and it just goes,
Oh shit.
hits the tree and just slumps down.
One shot, no scope. Holy
And a look of utter fear and terror comes across her face as she lets it go, and she just starts taking some steps back away from where these creatures are. Sindal, we're back up to you.
Cool. Her hand went diamond when she did that?
You didn't see
Yeah. No, you would not have seen it because you were looking towards where his arm was.
I'm going to. I think you got that one taken care of over there, man. I'm going to.
Wait, do I need to roll for my spells too?
Yours do not. Yours are divine in nature.
What about mine?
Yours are also divine in nature.
Really? The light of the thunder and whatever your heathen god is looks over us.
I am going to. I'll just do
Worship a bunch of dick.
a first level ray of sickness on the archer.
Okay, go make your tackle.
11.
11. Same thing as before. You shoot your ray of sickness and it slams into. Go ahead and roll your d20 as well. It slams into a tree next to where Auber's was, and you see the tree wither as it slams into it, but that's about it.
13.
Okay, yeah, you're fine. Korak.
It's
There's the one that's here in the woods near you, and then there's also this one here.
So I would like to turn to the one in the woods and throw a javelin at him.
Okay.
Turn him into a racing lily.
And that is a 16.
That's a hit. Do you want to move towards it at all, or?
No.
Okay.
5 damage.
Damage.
And then
Is that including your rage damage?
is a javelin a strength weapon?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, no, it's not then. 7 damage.
Okay.
Um,
Alright, so that's your first attack.
and then I'm gonna go. Who's all there? Oh man, that guy's far away. I'm gonna go ahead and group up with Zarn and I guess I don't know Zarn's
Yeah,
name.
you don't know where
Group
Zarn
up
is.
with Albert and Sendal the best I can around them, and throw another javelin.
Alright, go ahead and make your
Is
tackle.
it still within 30 feet?
Yeah.
Okay. That is a hit. That's 23.
Go ahead and roll your damage.
6 with their rage damage.
Okay. As you throw your 2 javelins, you see the one after it was kind of ducking out of the way. It put its back up against it, but with you having taken your couple steps, it slams into its shoulder and it staggers forward a bit. And you see the second one slam more back into the lower part of its back, and you can hear it yelp out in pain. Their turn. The one that you just attacked out of frustration throws down its bow, and you see it pull out a spear,
Oh shit.
come charging towards you.
Alright.
As it goes for 2 attacks. The highest of the 2 is a 12.
That's definitely nice.
Okay. And the one here, having just seen Fenrir slice straight into its ally's neck, is going to go in for 3 attacks against you. First one is a 21. The second one's a 17, and the third one's definitely a miss.
Against me,
Yeah.
the one hits.
So you take, after your reduction from your feet, you only take 2 points of damage. As it goes in for 3 attacks against you, and you kind of being up on Lunae, it distracts it, not distracts it, but kind of keeps it out of range from being able to properly get in and attack you.
Did you roll with disadvantage?
It attacked you.
I know, I was just saying that doesn't matter anyway. That was incorrect whenever I told you that. if it's smaller than my mount, I get advantage on attack rolls.
Got it. Well, it would.
Anything else is fair game though.
Well, it has disadvantage because of your saddle.
Oh, that's right.
Anything that attacks you while you're mounted on Lune
Is that attacks me or
attacks Lune. Anything that attacks your mount while you're on it has disadvantage on the attack roll.
Gotcha.
So much to keep track of.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, you got a lot of shit going on over there. But you're up next. So what do you want to do?
There's that one right up in my grill, yeah?
Yeah.
I'll attack that. Lune will attack that.
Okay.
And that's a miss. Is it smaller than me?
Yeah.
So does Lune get that advantage, or is that me that gets the advantage?
It's just you that gets the advantage.
Okay. So that's a miss. Then I will attack it myself.
With advantage.
Yeah. 18.
18's a hit.
Points of damage.
Ooh. Alright, go ahead and roll your second attack.
That is... Sorry, 13.
13?
Yeah.
Manages to duck underneath the swing of your axe. After the first one, you managed to clip it kind of along the neck and under the jaw, and you did manage to get it enough that it fully ripped it out, but you see blood beginning to kind of run down the front of it, and as you go in for your second swing, attempting for a death blow, it manages to duck out of the way. Sorry. Or well, do you want to move or anything?
Does anybody else need any help with anything?
As far as you can tell, there's just this one and this one.
There's just two enemies?
Yeah, there's just the two enemies.
Okay. I'll just keep engaged in this one.
Okay.
I cast Cure Wounds on myself.
Alright.
That's 12.
Roll me to 20.
18.
Okay.
Oh god, you rolled something.
Lily!
I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay.
And then Lily hears out of the corner of her ear, "Oh, Lily, the Ravager, she who comes at the night. Legends will sing of the destruction that you wreak." And I give inspiration to Lily.
Oh, yes.
You need that.
I'm gonna need it immediately on the next one.
Lily, you're up.
I hear this. I feel inspired, and I'm going. I'm gonna unsheath my scimitar, which I almost never do, and I'm gonna charge at this one, and I'm gonna attack it.
Alright, go ahead and make your attack roll.
I need the inspiration probably right off the bat. Oh, not quite.
What was that?
16. 21.
That's a hit. Go ahead and roll a d6 plus dex.
You get to use it on damage.
You could also use the inspiration to add to damage if you want.
What is it, an extra d6?
It's an extra d8.
D8. Let's do it. Oh. Alright, so I have 13.
Okay. Feeling these words of inspiration run through you, little tiny Lily pulls out her scimitar and charging goes running forward towards this creature. It having just gone for 2 wild stabs with its spear at Korak. Korak managed to kind of bat aside the second one with his shield, leaving the creature fully exposed. And you just yelling at the top of your lungs, just lunge forward with your sword, and you feel the sword just sink straight through its lungs, straight through under its arm, just straight in through its heart, and you feel the creature slumps to the ground dead.
Yes! Melee kill.
Albert, you're up.
I'm shocked. I didn't even know you had swords.
Who gave that girl a sword?
The one that's currently in Lune's mouth, I can only assume.
I would also like to point out that as you stab this creature, its blood just sprays all over the front of you. Go ahead.
The Ravager.
How rough is the other one over there with Lune looking?
I mean, it looks beat up. You see blood kind of running down the front of its chest.
I'll just sacred flame it.
Alright, go ahead and make an attack roll.
I mean, I guess I just
Light the whole forest on fire.
It's gonna. It's not looking. There's a 13.
13 against the one down there. You let forth your sacred flame and it manages to duck out of the way as it slams as your sacred flame scorches onto the ground behind it.
It causes a forest fire. Where'd he go?
This is divine.
No, it misses. It hits the dirt.
Oh, my bad.
Very damp moss on the side of a tree.
That's true. He did say that. It's canon.
It's sacred fire. It's a funeral.
Junla is
Burned by enemies.
going to.
Oh shit. She found
No,
out
she's just going to come up and hunker down behind you.
Okay, cool.
Afraid.
I want it.
Sindal.
So we got 2. No, just the one, right?
There's just the one.
Well, I'll just I will just you know what? I'm gonna pull the wand out and use just a 3.
Okay.
Shoot some magic missiles.
Go ahead and roll your 3d4 plus 1 for each.
Sorry, what?
4,
Say it one more time.
I said guilty feet.
11 total points.
So as Sindal steps forward, he pulls out his wand, and from it you see 3 beads of magical energy appear and go arcing, not arching, arcing out towards the creature. Just boom, boom, boom. 3 slams into the chest as the creature falls dead in front of you.
Kills.
Yes.
I roll so poorly that I just try to avoid having to roll attack rolls ever.
Fair enough. It's kind of what I always do.
Constant.
I don't understand why you guys say that.
Just constant. 2, 3.
So, a moment of silence passes as the forest becomes calm once again.
Where's
You
Zarn?
hear Zarn panting heavily, standing in the middle of your group.
Well,
I'm alive.
yes, it's,
Son, where are you?
Right here.
Can't you
And
see
then
the
I
pile of
and my
blood?
spell right behind you.
don't you see the pile of blood that's standing where? Oh, there he is.
It's like the.
I'm fine. I had them right where I wanted. It was. I threw them into our ambush.
Are you in need of healing?
Scare them off by profusely bleeding.
I mean, yes, but we could take a rest maybe.
I'm gonna have to keep an eye on you, huh? Not very stealthy.
There's no Vey here anymore. What can I say?
You hear Junla kind of panting heavily as she sits down on the ground and is just kind of like looking at her hand. Her hands are kind of shaking.
Yeah, I'll turn and look at her with like the waterman. I'm like,
What happened, Junla? Are you okay? Did one bite you?
bite her.
Well, one tried to. I don't know. This power, whatever it is, just stopped it from actually hurting me.
Just
Oh, that's good.
the diamond skin was something we knew going into this.
Isn't there a spell that's similar to that?
But the other part.
What's other part?
Oh, you didn't see?
She
She shot a fucking star
She
out of
held
her
out
head.
her arm and it was a blast of some sort of energy. It wasn't arcane or divine. It was.
I mean,
It's magical.
It was a star, like above. Like, star.
Like a.
You can see that she's just kind of like looking at her hand, and her fingers are kind of shaking.
But there's, as far as I know, no other kind of magic than arcane or divine.
It was probably just a different type of magic, but she just. I'm sure it was just. It's fine, Junla. That's why we're here, I suppose, to figure out what this is. Although that is curious.
She just kind of looks up and gives a very weak smile and says, "I'm glad I could help at least."
You did more than help on that one.
So So what are you guys doing? You guys going to take a rest?
I think Zahn wanted to
I mean,
rest.
I can heal myself if we don't want to rest.
A short, quick rest, or
Yeah, it's just enough to spend some to heal up a little bit.
Oh, excuse me.
Half hour.
or perhaps I've been moving too fast for you. We could rest a bit.
Yes, I'm very weak and frail.
Okay, so you guys are going to take a short rest. If you want to spend some hit dice, you're more than welcome to.
I'll play my
I don't know
song
much about this
of
half-orc, but he
my
just,
song of
he just
rest.
must have like the biggest ego.
You know more than you think.
Alright. What do I at?
You know more than
Were you going to say something?
6.
I was, but I decided not to.
I'm playing Song of Rest as well. Which is
Ooh,
1.
playing a song of rest, I'll spend 1 hit die.
Should be a D12 for you.
It is. I just thought I had the number that I had.
Let's- I might as well
It
just
should just be equal to your healing, your character level.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, if anyone wants to short rest, you can spend a hit die as well as do any type of.
How does your
thing.
Song of Rest work again? I was forgetting.
How much did you
Heal
roll? for?
1.
Just
Yeah.
one?
Alright,
Alright.
it's not a good Song of Rest today.
you're just crying, licking your wound.
You just cry.
This really hurts. I'm in lots of pain.
We're all just.
I need to heal. Ow. I spent 4 hit dice. That's not well.
I spent 1, and I was well over 4 health.
I mean, it's alright. We still have plenty of healing magic left in our reserves. We're fine.
All right. So you guys take your rest. Pull yourselves back together, and you
Loot
guys.
the hobgoblin or loot the nose.
Okay, go ahead and roll me investigation check.
Can I try to grab my javelins back?
Yeah. You're able to pull them.
That's a 26.
Okay. So looking over these, you see that they have, you notice between them they have like 8 gold pieces. They don't have a lot. But looking at the 2 archers, they were both wielding spears that look like that they were orc in make, as opposed to. Not as opposed to anything. They just look like spears that like some of the orcs that you saw during the war were wielding.
Perhaps these things and orcs snuck it along very well. As they're working together. But judging from the fact that other things have been killed in here with blade, it's probably the gnolls that have been doing it.
It's not that easy for
Well, we
orcs
can-
to work with other creatures. They're very volatile, we'll say.
I'm sure they're just as confused about the forest as most other travelers that would be coming through here. And these creatures seem a little more naturally living here, so that they were just looking to kill, same as they were with us. We don't know exactly why. Seemed like they wanted to eat us.
Yes, I think I saw drool.
Oh, you were right up close.
It's with the mixed with the blood, there was drool, and it was not pleasant.
So, you guys continue on past this.
Oh, or there's short bows.
Longbows. As you continue on through the forest, the rest of this day goes by pretty uneventfully. As you guys are getting ready to make camp for the night, Korak, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
15.
15. As you guys are getting ready, setting up your camp for the night, you hear off in the woods as you're kind of getting your bearings, getting ready for where you guys are going to be going in the morning. You hear a rustle in the trees ahead of you. A moment passes.
We don't hear.
Am I out front?
Yeah, you're kind of off away a little bit, kind of like getting your bearings,
Yeah,
trying to
is he
trying to
the
figure out
one
exactly
step?
where you're going.
Wait, am I separate from them?
Not separate. You're just a little
Okay,
further
so-
removed from them.
Alright.
But like
So-
you're just standing off a little bit from the rest of them. What do you do?
How do I? Did I see anything? Did I just hear it? How far away was it?
It's a little ways ahead of you in the woods. You can't really see, maybe 20, 30 feet off.
I'm just gonna hold here and wait. Kind of actively perceive things.
Okay.
Can I roll a perspective check?
Yeah, go ahead and roll me. Well, you had already rolled your perception check from before.
No, I said perspective.
Oh, no. You got your perspective in line. As you are looking, you see starting to come. You start to see, like, you kind of shift your gaze a little bit, and you see behind one of the trees, taking aim with a very big longbow. You see a man from torso up with horse, like a horse lower half beneath his waist as he pulls back with his longbow and is taking aim at you.
And me, okay.
Yep. Let's off a shot.
So you still haven't said anything to us?
No.
Okay.
That's a 14 versus your armor class.
Come on.
Without even needing to pull up your shield, you take a step to the side as it thumps into the tree in the middle of your guys' camp. As it pulls back for a second shot, and another one. This time you manage to pull up your shield quickly, and you just catch it just straight on. It's just
Who?
all of you hear these bow shots thumbing through the woods. They are loud.
I come running then, I
Yeah,
guess.
immediately.
Yeah.
From my sword.
As you guys kind of immediately come up on where Korak is standing, you hear, wait, hold on. And you see, kind of stepping out of the woods a little bit quickly, the smaller form. The centaur before was bigger, but you see this one, the lithe, doe-like form of the Alciad deer, lower half of her body with female top with large antlers coming out of the front of her head. I'm sorry, we didn't know that you were traveling with a half-orc. I'm so sorry. We've had more than a few run-ins with them in the woods since the war started. As you see now, stepping more fully into sight, Suthera, the centaur that Colin is traveling with.
Oh. Not that I know.
Yeah.
But
Yes, he's our friend. He's the one that guided us here.
Oh, I'm very sorry. He really didn't mean it. And you just see him
he was nothing.
just snorts and just looks at you derisively. She turns and kind of looks towards all of you. So I'm assuming that things went well with the campaign against the orcs. We've seen more than a fair share of them here in the forest.
The city managed to repel them.
A lot of lives lost, but we managed to finish them off.
That's wonderful news. I'm so glad to hear. And you can kind of see that she finally sees Junla and just leaves her sentence trailing off in the middle of it as she steps forward and kind of bends down a little bit. Junla, I'm so glad to see you. I'm glad to see that you're all right. And you can see that she kind of starts talking to her. And Junla looks just as glad to see her. And after a couple more pleasantries, she says, "Well, as far as we've been able to tell, as close as we were able to get, the junction is only 2 more days from here, through the forest. But it looks like that it's centered around it, I should say. There are ruins of some town that might have once been there. There are a few buildings that stand overtaken by plants, but there are creatures there that have taken up the ruin as their home. It looks like dog-like creatures.
You already encountered some of those ambushed us in the woods a little bit ago.
Yes, they don't appear to be overly friendly or amenable to conversation.
No, they're not. They tried to eat me.
Oh, well, I'm glad to see that you're all right.
Me too.
Part of one's still covering Lily.
Oh. She says, they've been bringing back corpses of orcs and other creatures that they've been managing to find in the forest. They've been bringing them back into the ruins and taking them into one of the buildings. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but...
Eating them, perhaps?
Perhaps. Either way, I think that we're going to need to either scare them off or deal with them before we're able to figure out where exactly the junction is in the ruin.
I don't think we'll have any qualms against murdering all of them.
No, I imagine not. They are rather evil. But Suthera and I will be able to help you this time, so hopefully they won't be able to spray... never mind. Not able to spray blood all over Lily and attempt to eat you. Yes, we'll travel there in the morning. I think it's late enough that we can make camp for the night. So, you all take rest for the night. That's not what I want to do.
I'm just trying to get itchy again,
You guys rest for the night.
That evening, I go up to Korok wherever he is.
Once
And I pull the sword out of the quiver, and I say, "You've done your job pretty well. There you go."
We're on the same page, my friend. I was gonna come up and ask you for it.
Treat it well.
Well, with conditionally.
Well, as well as you can a weapon that you're using to kill things with.
Did you give him the card?
Oh,
And it just has the stats of a long sword plus that ability. It has no plus to it or anything.
Yeah, right,
but,
right.
So,
Oh, it requires attunement. Shit. Do I have time to... What time do we do that?
you guys are going to sleep, so you have more than enough
before
time. Yeah.
Yes, I would have come up to you that night when we were getting
You
ready
get
to go
to
to
cuddle
sleep.
with the sword of death.
You better believe it.
It's a pretty cool looking sword, too.
I wouldn't...
Yeah, oh, it is cool.
I don't have eyes.
So, as all of you awake, taking your shifts on rest, you guys, the night passes uneventfully. Korak, you don't no longer need to be in the lead as you were following Kalen and Suthera's direction on this now. You guys are traveling through the forest. The day passes uneventfully. As you guys get to a resting point for the night, Kalen says, alright, we should be able to get there by about perhaps 10 in the morning tomorrow. I don't know if there's anything that you all need to do to prepare for tonight, but there was more than a small number at these ruins, so we're in for a fight one way or another.
Love to try this new sword out.
How's the what is like the phase of the moon looking like right now? Sorry, I always ask that.
Do you have a date?
You should give him the calendar of the fates.
Nah. I just want to make him ask me every time. As of right now.
It's waxing gibbous.
It is the equivalent to, well, actually not the equivalent because I'm not renaming the calendar days. It's just there are 30 days in every month. It is March 30th. As for the phase of the moon, there is no moon. It is It is a new moon.
Alright. I would just play probably some sort of song just to what kind of inspire everybody, just night before battle kind of song.
Okay. You guys resting around the camp. Here's what I'm playing. Watch.
Can I have I want to have a conversation with him before we go.
Sure. Yeah. If there's any conversations you guys want to have, please.
Albert,
Yes?
are you going to be all right if I use my magic to its actual extent?
When we have, in order to defend ourselves, it is acceptable. Do what you will to ensure our survival. Whatever that may be, I will not hold you back.
Well, but if how long we stay, I can't always remember that. I want to start preparing.
Hey, Kaylee, could you get me water?
It's the reason I want a bag of holding.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm only going to probably be able to carry like 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At any time for skeletons.
Holding full of bones.
It's
Full of
We had a very long discussion about this at one point, but yeah, they last for 24 hours if you take control of them.
okay. So I'm going to. Yeah, I'll do it before bed.
Okay.
We have not rested yet.
No, you guys are getting ready to
Lay them
go to
out.
sleep, and as you guys see,
Is this going to be a long rest?
yeah, you guys see Albert systematically pull out a series. Not Albert, sorry, Sindal.
Yeah,
Like half a
little different.
Yeah, you guys see Sindal pull out and systematically lay out an array, a skeleton of an orc. And after going into it for about a minute to cast?
Yes.
You see the bones begin to snap together. And you see bits of dark energy flowing between the gaps in the bones. So you hear... as these two skeletons pull themselves up into their full height, and they just stand, swaying, looking at Sindal.
Hand them both a couple short bows and some arrows. I command them don't do anything.
And they just let the bows dip down to their side as they stand and sway silently.
Can I go to... I want to talk to Korak.
I wanted to talk to Zoran too. This is
Sure.
so great.
keep meeting like this. Korak, I just...
Actually,
I don't really have anything particular to ask. We've been traveling together for a while now, and you seem like you're very good at tracking. Have you been in this area for a long time? Is this...
Yeah. I grew up here pretty much on my own in the wilds.
Yeah, oh, that's what they're supposed to
You know, it's what it is.
On your own in the forest?
Yeah, it says.
Yeah. People of Kelisaeri, how they don't really take kindly to
Yes.
mankind.
Elves can be kind of stuck up sometimes.
Yeah. That being what it is, it's you know, I've learned to fend for myself. The spirits of nature occasionally. I feel at one with nature. It's all at this point. I'm very happy with the way things are.
Well, that's good. I understand a bit. I spent some time training amongst some elves when I was younger in the forests around my village. So.
Well, I tell you, I had you pegged all wrong, man. I thought you'd be really stealthy and dexterous. Turns out you can take a hit.
It was my hat. I was wearing a different hat. It was bad. Usually, I'm pretty good.
Well,
Promise.
either way, this seems this is a good time.
Yes, I'm glad you're here. You seem like you're a good person, so I'm happy you're along with us.
And I take out my alchemy jug, and I say, "Do you have a drink of preference?"
Oh, just wine.
And I say, "Wine," and a gallon of wine. We share.
Oh, this is wonderful.
Gallon.
You guys see as he pulls,
I sip it
you see as
lightly.
he pulls out this copper jug that's empty, but as he pulls it out, there's nothing in it, but it sounds like it's sloshing and it's full of fluid. And as he says wine, you see the bottom become red and fill up 3/4 of the way with wine.
What open you made with that?
All kinds of things.
Oh.
Have you never seen one?
No, I don't think so.
Oh no, I mean, what do you like?
Oh, the wine's fine. The wine is good for now. I mean, can you create like potions of healing in it? Or?
No. Unfortunately not.
Alright, so just within like liquids like alcohol.
Wine, water, salt water.
Oh, that's. Oh,
Why would you drink salt water?
Not everything is for drinking, sir.
Oh, well, that's very true. I've been out of practice, in fact.
can you
I'm
create
sorry.
like oil in it?
Self-explain.
Interesting. Good. Think of a lot of things. To
Oil,
use that for.
vinegar, other sorts of salad dressing.
Yes, salad. That's what I was thinking. We could gather things around here and create.
I need a
nice
gallon
salad.
of ranch dressing. Stat.
Boom, done.
Legalize it.
Legalize ranch.
Legalize ranch. So, you guys taking watch for the night. What's your watch order?
I mean,
Third.
First.
I'll go wherever.
Third.
Nothing
Sleep
ever
is
I'll go
happens.
second.
I'll go last.
I'll go second.
Fourth.
I'm not
Second.
particularly perceptive, and second is notoriously the most dangerous, so...
Oh. Well, I guess I should be second.
Nothing happens on first watch.
I'll stay up with you for first.
No.
First watch. Perception check.
During first,
He's doing it.
during first watch, I'd like to ritual cast Detect Magic
There we go.
throughout that. And I want to see what other magical items he's Korak's carrying.
Make a perception check.
Okay. 20.
Also roll me a d20.
19.
Okay. So you see the sword that he was carrying before.
Sure.
You saw and know the alchemy jug.
Okay, I figured that one out now.
But you also notice a glow coming from his shield.
Okay.
But what was your perception check for first
20.
watch?
23.
First watch passes uneventfully. Second watch, perception check.
That's me. That's not bad. 19.
Second watch passes uneventfully.
Who's on third?
Third watch,
There's one to me. I think it's Kaylee.
he's on fourth watch.
I'll be on third watch with the.
It's gonna happen.
You should, yes, you have advantage.
Yeah, but it was a 19. So.
Third watch
No.
passes uneventfully.
Yeah.
It must be 4th.
Fourth watch
It's gonna be nothing.
15.
Does Linnea stay up with you?
She does. Oh.
Okay. Roll a
Actually.
perception check for Luna as well.
Doesn't it?
I would absolutely
Do I
think
get
so.
advantage?
She's like a
Yes,
spectral
roll her
beast, but
spell
She's
damage.
like not a. She's a corporeal spirit.
14.
She
What's
still
the-
needs to rest.
what's
She
your
still has a physical form.
I was gonna say that'd be like super.
So
I
she
thought-
actually does need sleep then?
Yes.
Okay.
You were thinking she's just always up.
Does she eat too?
She enjoys eating. Fender hasn't put her to the test of not eating for extended periods of time.
Okay.
Remember, you're such an ass.
I like to starve my animals.
Which I just didn't really know like exactly like, what level of like spectral summon magic animals. So.
Over the course of your watch, goes by uneventfully. Then about
Oh.
45 minutes into your watch, you hear a sudden rustle over on the opposite side of your camp. You don't see anything. A few moments pass. Still silent. Might have been a bird. I'm not sure. You don't see anything. Nothing else really happens.
Can I ask the man to go check it out?
You hear her telepathically communicate. All right. She walks over. There was something here. Something we've seen before. The little creatures from the forest. The little people. Roll me an intelligence check.
Do you remember?
10.
10? You remember from the conversation and from having it happen before, it seems like that she's referring to quicklings, very small, quick, small creatures of the forest that you guys saw and had a very, very brief run-in for only a moment on your travel going to the first Arcane Junction. It seems as if one came very close to your camp and is no longer here.
Did we know anything about them?
You
During
knew
our first encounter?
you know a little bit. They're not particularly vicious or anything. They're not first sign of any confrontation. They bolt. They live incredibly short lifespans and are just very, very small, incredibly fast creatures. The rest of your watch passes uneventfully. As you're all waking up, getting ready. What?
Can I get new spells?
Oh yeah, you can totally rearrange all your spells and pre-prepare new spells if you want to. Sorry, I need to write something down. Okay, so as you guys get ready for the next day, Colin says to you, all right, we'll be able to get there in a few hours. Like I said before, we're definitely in for a fight, so do what you need to be ready for it. Hopefully, if this is anything like the last junction, the natural flow of magic won't be as disruptive as it was before. You guys head off into the forest. I need everybody to go ahead and roll stealth checks.
Can I cast Pass Without a Trace before we do that?
Yes, you can.
Do we know if this is just another lake?
All you know is that it appears that there are ruins where the junction is supposed to be.
And there's some hungry little puppy dogs out there.
Aww.
Just a bunch of puppies.
Is there a maximum number of people that Pass Without a Trace can affect? Or is it just everyone around you?
I think it's within a radius.
If critical roll is any indicator, I think 6 is in. Oh wait, I guess there's more.
Well, I'm asking because there's 9 of you here right now.
Yeah. I do not know.
It just says your companions.
Okay, if it doesn't specify a number, then it's just anyone that's around you.
What were those little creatures called again?
Quicklings.
Quicklings.
Quickie Bill.
Quickie Bill.
There you go.
Yeah, it doesn't say any specific
Nope.
number.
There could be
Stealth
1,000
checks.
people around me.
Well, it's only within 30 feet.
26. I don't know what kind of stuff Lily's into. 25.
25.
16.
29.
Fenrir and Luna.
15, 16.
That including the plus 10?
Yep.
Okay.
Heavy armor now. For both. I just rolled shit.
I have to roll with these things.
And you know what? It doesn't kill you because you're an indestructible ball of holy divine energy. Angry wolf teeth.
So,
Believe in yourself.
you all start making your way through the forest, following Colin and Suthera. Going along, you start to see signs of the creatures that live in this area in the forest, as you see carvings into the trees, long gouging claw marks scrape through the bark. You see, on more than one occasion, a mangled, ruined corpse slung over a branch by rope. Heads of different orcs on very tribal and basic made spears hidden along the path as you guys go. With Lily's path without a trace, you go by pretty quietly, not leaving any sign of your passage. Colin and Suthera begin to kind of slow down and become a little bit more methodical in their passage as you guys start to hear in the distance some of the cackling laughter and barking of very similar to what you guys heard before from these gnolls. Suthera and Colin stop your group. She says, "All right, they're just up ahead. If any of you want to go ahead and check it out, Suthera and I are definitely not suited for attempting a scouting mission of any sort.
Yeah.
If not, we can go in full force. But if anyone wants to go take a look,
Yeah,
do that
I'll definitely scout.
I'll go and help them out.
Lily, keep your magic in check. Out there.
I got this.
both of you are only stealth checks,
You're
still
rude.
including
I was gonna
pass without a
say,
trace.
I need to go if you want that bonus.
Oh, that's good. That's 30.
Oh.
Oh. Do you get an 11?
You have luckies. You
I'm
have
gonna use
luckies.
luck.
So that's your first of the day?
Yep. I'm gonna use luck and a different d20. Much better. 26.
26?
30.
Okay. So you see
The best
the two of them
ever.
sneak ahead through the forest, and you, Sindel and Zorn, you both have kind of felt, as you've gotten closer to this location, you felt the magic not as crazy as it is normally. You've started to feel like it lift off just because the trees are getting to thin out a little bit more. So you guys kind of get the idea that you're safe to kind of cast spells in this area where you are.
We may want to conserve a couple just in case, though, in case something happens with the junction like last time.
That's how it was at the original junction, the first one, because the light was actually through and we were actually okay at that point whenever we got close to the junction. So
Yeah,
we
the
could-
canopy isn't oppressively overhead, and you aren't fully intoxicated by the magic around you.
Gotcha.
Korak and Lily, go ahead and roll me perception checks.
Also, yes.
You want to do a couple of high-level spell slots?
That's a 20.
That's a natural 20. All right.
And that's it's a 19 naturally.
Oh,
It's
we
'cause
see
you- it's
so
'cause you have
much!
the-
22. My fucking goggles.
22. So, as you guys are sneaking ahead, you guys are going along, and you pass by a very large corner of an old building, overtaken and swallowed by vines and growth. As you're going along, you pause suddenly as you hear the shifting of underbrush to your left. As the two of you stop, hide in sight, you see walking by two of these gnolls with longbows and spears on their back, as well as walking behind them a very strange-looking dog, unfamiliar to you, but to you, it's a hyena. You know what it is, and you see the two of them pass. I mean, unless you guys want to try to jump them. You watch the two of them pass. as you continue on from there. And you come towards a clearing where you pass one or two more of these stone, these remnants of ancient buildings.
Do the vines and such look natural?
Yeah, no, it looks
Like,
like
I'm
that
pretty used to seeing this kind of stuff.
moss. And
Okay.
it's not like it's like just random vines that are swallowing this, but it just looks like these are old buildings. These have been here and have been overgrown for a very long time.
Okay.
Old magic.
Old Bill.
As the two of you come closer towards one of the clearings, you hiding behind one of these edges, you can see, or around the edge of one of these buildings, you can see, and you can hear more fully now, the cackling laughter of, looks like maybe 12, 15, somewhere between like a dozen and 20 of these creatures kind of all gathered around a more fully complete building, still overgrown, but you can see that there's holes in the roof. It looks like a small chapel or a temple of some sort. You can see that there's a hole in the roof, and you can see smoke kind of rising out of it, like a campfire. You can see 4 other campfires that are outside. You can see that out in front of the building there is the remnants of a very rusted old barbed fence that would serve as, in times past, perhaps a courtyard outside of the outside of this chapel. You can see in the center of the area a fountain, vines and moss growing over it. The side of it collapsed with water flowing out of it very heavily, almost not a river, but there's a very heavy stream that is pouring from it and going between one of the gaps in the fence, and it's just flowing off into the river. You can see all these different creatures from your angle, Lily. You are able to see inside, where with your eyes of the eagle, you're able to see through the doorway into this chapel, and you can see, because of the lighting, it's a little bit hard to see, but you can see 3 more of these dog-like creatures standing inside the chapel, all up next to an altar where you can see it looks like there are several bodies piled on top of it.
And there were like 15 outside, right?
As well as the 2 that just walked past you on your patrol. And you saw basically all of it, minus the ones that are inside.
Did we actually get a count? Or was it like you said, a dozen to 20?
Let me give you a better count.
Sounds like there's about 20 total.
This is in that
There's 3
clearing.
more inside.
Oh, you saw.
Near this chapel, yeah.
There's a chapel in this clearing.
The pile of bodies.
Let me see.
Altar.
You can make them dance later.
Yeah.
You count 14.
14?
Uh-huh.
In the camp.
In the camp. And then there's the 3 that are inside.
Okay. So there's 17 plus 2 patrolling.
You can see as well that there are several of these dogs and mixed in with the
They look
Are
like,
they
they
included
look like
in that
orc
number?
bodies.
Or just that's what I was
with the lighting, because the temple is dark. It's hard to tell, but you can see on several places on this rusted fence. You can see that there are several orc bodies that are just kind of unceremoniously thrown up on the spikes, almost just like a grotesque showing of power for this camp.
Was our 19 count counting those dogs, the hyenas? Or was that gnolls?
That was 14 gnolls, as well as there's 4 of these dogs that you can see out here. 1, 2, 3. Hold on, let me double check that. Sorry, there are 13 gnolls outside the camp, and 4 of these dogs that are outside, and then there's the 3 that are inside, as well as the patrol.
21.
So right around 20 in total.
And then the bodies are just like stacked up on an altar, like they're not doing anything to them. It's just like a corpse pile.
From just sitting here for a few moments, you don't notice them doing anything to it right now. But yeah.
I think we should report back to everybody else.
Absolutely.
They have like an altar of bodies in the church.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really kind of fucked up.
What kind of weapons? Did I see their weapons?
I mean, it's more. It looks like more the same, just different long swords, bows.
Just randomly.
Yeah. None of them. You don't notice anyone in particular being very finely armed.
Okay. So we're gonna report back to the group.
Okay.
That's our plan.
So you guys come back.
So what we've seen are they have about 20 enemies in a camp just over there.
Several gnolls, a few dogs.
And there's this
And they-
church or chapel, and they have this like shrine of bodies.
Could you tell what
in
the
there.
chapel was dedicated to? What God it was for?
I don't know, stuff like that.
Fair enough.
A child.
Well, Lily,
I'm a child.
I'm sorry for asking.
Or just a little group.
She was a smoker.
Fucking bust out my cigar and
Oh, it may be worth noting.
You just start coughing profusely.
It may be worth noting. They do have patrols out and about around the camp.
They seem unaware that we're here. So we just go in and hit them hard and fast.
Full force.
Nice.
they're pretty much gathered
If we
in
see
a
any
tight
patrols,
group,
try
right?
to take them out quietly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could possibly drop a fireball in there and mess up a lot of their days.
Fireball.
Just so you know, like the trees more or less run straight up to the camp. You guys got pretty close overall to the camp. You're pretty well covered the whole way, but there's not like there are trees like still kind of intermittently planted, not planted but have grown like in the courtyard as well. So it's not like the lake that you guys were at before where there's just like, oh, there's no trees. Like there are trees more or less scattered the whole way up to it. So there's not a particularly open clearing. So, as you all make your way towards the camp, I want to go ahead and roll stealth checks again.
I still want to pass
And I'll go out
trace.
front.
Pass without a trace is still going on?
Pass Without a Trace is just about to end, so yeah, you'll still have it.
I cast
Should-
mage armor on myself.
Okay, we should also roll once for your skeletons.
Pass the trace, yes.
We
no?
didn't. for
Yes.
the
Yes.
purchase.
It's fine. Just remember for next time.
Sorry.
Hmm?
My bad. So that's 30 and
Oh, 22.
27.
then...
Great.
A wonderful 13.
With pass without a trace?
Yeah.
Shit.
22 and 29.
Well, I got a 30, and the skeletons
Got a natural one.
got a natural 1.
That's at least 11.
No, technically, it's 1 plus 10 minus 2, so it's only a 9.
All right. So, as your group starts moving forward, you guys start getting close, and Suthera and Colin kind of quietly turn to the two of you and say, or they turn to your group before you get too close and say, all right, do we all want to approach as a large group, or do we want to attempt to fan out?
I can stay a fair distance back with what I can bring to this battle.
I think if we're all clumped up, if they happen to have somebody that can cast spells, we're in for a good beating. So perhaps if we spread out a little bit.
Agreed.
I can initiate. I can run in.
Is this, I know there's trees in the area, is it still like an oppressive canopy?
It's not. The trees aren't as tightly packed together as they were before. So that much to the point that these two are able to cast spells without any problems again.
Okay. I have an idea.
But so as your group starts to approach, Suthera and Kalen say that they're going to branch off a little bit and come and hit from the side a little bit more, as to not have it as tightly packed together. As your group starts going towards it.
I have a my hypnotic pattern prepared in case like the patrol walks by in front of us.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Did you say you have hypnotic something prepared?
Hypnotic pattern. That's a 5.
Okay. So.
It's prepared.
It's a good idea.
I can't see anything though.
As your group starts approaching, you come into sight of the camp. So you're keeping an eye out, looking for the patrol. And as your group is about to spring your assault, you hear a sudden, loud barking sound coming off from the side a little bit, somewhere where your attention was being drawn more towards the actual assault you were about to make, and you hear as they start. You can see as you turn real quick, the two gnolls with the from the patrol with the dog. You hear the dog barking, and you hear one of them yelling in a language that you guys don't understand, and you hear very quickly the same kind of yelling coming from the camp as well.
Oh, let's go.
And that's where we're gonna have to end tonight, right before initiative. Because we run a little bit late. It's already 9:45.
That's a good place to leave off, though.
Yeah, so next week we'll be able to go straight into initiative.
Yeah, fuck these things.
Guys, for anyone that's actually still watching, I don't know how many of you are, but thank you for tuning in if you guys did.
Thanks, guys.
We plan on streaming every Wednesday, starting at around 6:20, 6:30, and going till around 10 p.m.
Next week.
We'll stream to
I hope you guys liked it. Huh?
Twitter handles, Facebook.
Oh, you can find stuff that we'll post on Twitter and Facebook with Facebook or Twitter.com/rollperspective. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It is Wednesday, my dudes.
It is.
And we will see you guys next week.
See you guys.